Hello everyone, welcome to another YouTube stream. How's it going? If this is your first stream, because I only recently started doing YouTube streams on Thursdays to let, YouTube users get a live stream that they can watch. Usually we cover a variety of topics, and we might still today, but I'm not sure, because the topic and the title is so weird, I don't know if I'll be able to stop watching it once we start. So just be aware, today might just be the quantum grammar thing, depending on how into it I get, I'm not sure. How's everyone doing? I hope you're doing well. If you are a YouTube user, we do channel memberships now, if you'd like to do that to support the show. Patron-only live stream will be this Sunday, if you want to become a patron and support the show that way. We're going to be doing Jackbox games together this Sunday, it'll be fun. And I think that's all the housekeeping. Think we're good? Is the bot working? I know it takes a while. There we go. It is. Cool. So let's get into it. I know... Lanterns glow. By the way, I know I already typed it to you, but congrats on the job. I'm glad that my job blessing powers have yet to be falsified. Seriously though, congratulations. That's awesome. Okay, so let's get into this. Some of this may look familiar, because I do believe we actually caught a little bit of this once. I don't remember if it was on a patron-only stream or what. But I know we watched part of this video at some point. So if you recognize it, don't worry. We're going to watch more than we watched before, probably. This is a gentleman by the name of David Wynn, or as he likes to be called, David... Wait, sorry. His official name as he goes by... went by. He's dead now. He went by :David/Win :Miller, comma. Yeah, the new shelf is going to go under the sign over here. I'm almost finished with it. I'm probably going to work on it more tonight. So this won't be a white space forever, I promise. And I'm going to have like sci-fi and I'm going to move my like sci-fi and time travel collection up here. So that'll be there. Anyway, what do you need to know about David? David is an interesting fella with some interesting thoughts on how the world works. I just want you to know, basically everything he's going to say, in my opinion, appears to be a bold-faced lie. I looked up his background. I looked up his background to find out the fact from fiction here. And in terms of things I could actually verify, I couldn't verify any of his claims, basically. So just be aware. And in fact, the only things I did find were debunking his claims directly. Okay? So I'll try and point out things, but you can just probably assume the things he says are bullshit. Because he just makes stuff up. So let's go. This is a 9-hour video, by the way. He also has this 6-hour one.
Gentlemen, we have called you together to inform you that we are going to overthrow the United States government.
Yikerinos! Let me point you towards Boxy. We do not advocate sedition in this house.
Brought down the World Trade Center.
Oh god, let's skip to the part where he is.
Ladies and gentlemen, well, as you know, my name is David Wynn Miller, but I punctuate my name. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, Benjamin Franklin, all punctuated the name same as I did. They were
Do you mean hyphenated?
all 34-degree Master Masons. Now, I don't know if there's any Masons in the crowd, but I am a 92nd degree Mason.
If you watch Tinfoil Tuesday, you should be familiar that the highest actual degree, the highest Freemason rank is 33. But don't worry. He explains this.
I know you've been taught that Masonry goes to 33 and 34 degrees for Grand Masters. The reason I'm a 92nd degree Mason is because in 1988 I broke the math interface in all 5,000 languages, proving that language is a linear equation in algebra.
Oh, okay then. Okay, so no, that's not true. Freemasons only go to 33. There isn't an ultra secret, like, 60 more levels. That's not how this works. And this is where we're getting to the heart of what his primary claim here is. This is what people are paying, or at least showing up to this seminar for. Okay? By the way, this is from 2012, so a little over a decade ago. That hurts to say. He does a lot of speaking events. This is what he did. He, like, went around the country and did this as a job, I think. I did see the voice actor for Dale Gribble died. Very sad. Someone asked about next subathon. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, actually.
This hasn't been done in 8,500 years of written language. When I did so, I was able to unlock the 2/3 of all the words missing from all languages in the world, and I can write any sentence in any language, frontwards and backwards, with the same meaning.
Okay, so there's no such thing as hidden words. Words are made up. Words are just sounds we make with our mouths, or if it's a nonverbal language, like any of the various sign languages, it's things that you communicate with your hands. It's a social construct. There's no objective, like, English language out in the universe. Like, you couldn't, like, take the universe and grind it down and, like, separate out language from it. There's no physical thing that is language. It's an idea. It's a collective thing we all agree on. There aren't hidden words. We make new words often to describe new things, actions, events, inventions, like understandings of things. But they're not hidden. It's not like they're elements that are hidden out there and we just have to find them and discover them to put them on the periodic table. We're talking about a language. There's nothing hidden. Bittergrin says, can I get one of those job blessings? I've got an interview coming up soonish. I wish you all the blessings, and you too will get your job.
Once this was discovered, it completely, 48 hours after I published on the internet, I had 2 Secret Service agents from Washington at my front door going, do you realize what you've done? You've just...
David Wynn is actually in an episode of Warehouse 13, and he doesn't know it.
Qualified every treaty, trust, and contract in 8,500 years on planet Earth. I says, well, he says, who did you tell? I says, everyone.
I put it on the internet.
I says, I sent out 100 videos, 20 hours long, including a 100-page report.
100 videos, 20 hours long. In totality, they're 20 hours long, or each video is 20 hours long? I feel like if it's enough information even collectively that it's 20 hours, which is more than double the length of this ridiculously long YouTube video. Can you summarize that in that paper? You said it's just like, oh, and I summarized it in this, like, paper. All of it? Ah.
On the entire studies to all nations of the United Nations and over...
I sent it to the United Nations, all the nations. I have Germany's email address.
100
sorry.
TV and news agencies around the United States. By doing that, I protected myself, because when you have a secret that is so profound that it would disqualify planet Earth, it would cause you to get shot.
Disqualify planet Earth.
And at every seminar, by the end of the seminar, there's always a dozen people that walk up to you and say, why are you still walking around? Well, as Pandora, destroyer of worlds. Now, you might think that that's a bad thing. The word destroyer, D-E means no, and stroy is contract. Of is an adverb which connects to a pronoun in front of it. P-R-O means no, N-O means no, and U-N means no. So the word destroyer is a no, no, no word.
I need you to understand that basically this man invented a conlang and is acting like it's mathematically objective. He invented a really shitty conlang that doesn't make any sense. And he's going around, or went around, telling people this was the secret language of the universe, basically. And that it will get you out of any court issue, because this is a sovereign citizen thing.
Of is an adverb, A-D-V. It's a modifier. Modifiers connect the pronouns in front of it and modify the verb after it. Modification is change, change is motion, motion is action, and action is verb.
Rob, you're being pedantic, god damn it. You know what I meant.
Therefore,
What is this, fucking CinemaSins?
the word world becomes a verb. Do you live in a world of verb, or do you live in a world of a fact?
World is a noun.
As you all know, the word world is a fact.
The word world is a fact. I don't even know what those words are supposed to mean in that order. A word is a word. The word earth is a noun. What do you mean it's a fact? Like, this is a Coke can. The word Coke can, or can, I guess, is a noun. It's a thing. Coke is a brand, but like can, it's not a fact, it's a noun. It is a fact that we call this a can, but it's just a noun. Oh, God.
But because it's the destroyer of verb, I destroyed the world of verb in all 5,000 languages worldwide on
Yeah, he doesn't like verbs. He does not like verbs.
April 6th, 1988. And so with that said, how did this come about? Well, in 1980, I went through a divorce. And in a
I'm shocked. Can't imagine why. Seems like it'd be super fun to live with you.
divorce, Judge Stanley Miller said, you cannot be a father to your children. And he took away my children. I'm going, why would you do that? I've been a good father for 10 years.
I don't know anything about the situation, but based on where he was the rest of his life, I kind of doubt that he was stable enough to be a guardian of children.
And he goes, because I'm a judge, he says, and I can take away people's children just because I can.
Yes, I'm sure that's exactly what the judge said, verbatim.
I says, well, that's sex discrimination. Under the 1964 Civil Rights Act for equality, I says, I'm going to prosecute you. And he says, you can't prosecute judges. He says, begging the difference. I says, I know what the law is. You swore to support the Constitution of the United States and the laws written by the United States Congress, Senate, and Legislature. I says, that includes equality. I says, if I don't have equality, that's discrimination. Pretty simple. So I prosecuted Judge Stanley Miller in 1980, and
I could find no evidence of this. It might exist. I'll even look one more time. Judge Stanley Miller. Because he said like 1980, correct? Or something like that. I literally couldn't find anything in relation to this at all. So I don't think it's true. Looks like Miller didn't retire until, let's see. Sorry, I got a song stuck in my head. Control F. Miller. Judge Stanley A. Miller. Judge Stanley A. Miller, who retired from the Milwaukee County Circuit Court on September 8th due to poor health, died November 4th. So this was... What year was this? 2001. So it appears that no, he probably tried, but he definitely didn't succeed.
he was disbarred as a judge.
Let me try it actually one more time. What was it? Stanley Miller? 86? 1986. Judge Stanley Miller disbarred. I know that Miller also, or not Miller, sorry. I know that the quantum grammar guy created his own fake court. He thought it was real, but it's like a fake court. So maybe he's talking about the rulings that he made through that court because he declared himself a judge. Yeah, I don't see anything about it.
7 years later, Stanley Miller got reappointed again. 2
If he was disbarred, how would he be reappointed? That doesn't make any sense.
weeks later, after he was reappointed, I showed up in his courtroom, had him disbarred again.
Why would you have to disbar him twice? Did he go back to law school and do it again and what?
4 days later. 7 years later, 1994, got reappointed again. And
man, it kind of sounds like at no point was he disbarred. It kind of sounds like he keeps just going to different jobs, and you keep getting mad and re-disbarring him, but for realsies this time, but it's not legal, so it doesn't actually do anything.
I showed up in his courtroom 2 weeks after he got reappointed. Had him disbarred a third time.
I declare you disbarred, is about how I imagine that happened.
3 years later, he died in 1997. And never served much on the bench. Always was an administrator, but never a judge. As a result of that, when the judge took away my children, that violation, that breaking of my heart, put me on a path. That path was anger. You don't take away a parent's child. And the pain that caused, pain makes thought, thought makes wisdom, and wisdom grows to maturity. So as a result of that pain, I started studying. Now we go through 3 phases in life. You do not know what you do not know. Well, it's like putting your hand in fire. It looks pretty until you touch it and you get burnt. Well, you know what you don't know.
I mean, you can get your hands close to fire and recognize it's getting warmer the closer I'm being pedantic.
About why you got burnt. And I was aware of what I didn't know, so I had to study. And so because I studied, I learned about what the fire was. I learned about what the pain was. And from that, I then had knowledge.
I don't know if he's taking credit for the judge's death as much as he's like, haha, he just did paperwork, which again, I don't even know, I don't know what's, he just makes shit up, so.
I had knowledge, I knew what I knew, and then I could become a teacher. In 1975, I became a college professor in Milwaukee, and I was taught engineering and metallurgy, heat treating, and blueprint reading. So I've been a teacher now 75, so going on 38 years.
I can't find any evidence of him being a college professor in any way, shape, or form, or at a trade school. I couldn't find anything. Smith Black with $5 says, I wonder why he got his kids taken away. It's a mystery.
I hold a professional license for college. I also have 3 PhDs.
No, he doesn't. This man has 0 PhDs. 0. He has no PhDs.
535 college credits.
Like, I couldn't even find him going to college. I don't even know if he actually went to college at all.
17 full-time years of college. Kind of got stuck in college. I really liked it. Worked third shift nights as a tool and die welder, and I went to school full-time days. I had but to fill in my spare time because I didn't sleep, I went ahead and had a second full-time job, and that was in real estate, teaching underwater welding.
Wow. Kind of sounds like you had no time for all of this. It kind of sounds like you're just like making a bunch of shit up. That's weird.
I had my own real estate company for 26 years.
Wow, he was a teacher. He also was going to school and has 3 PhDs, and he taught underwater welding, and he did welding and tool die manufacturing.
Besides doing law from 1980 to
and he does law.
Present time, 32 years.
By law, he means the bullshit he's doing here.
I have 80,000 hours of law experience.
No.
And I've fielded, I've done 2,500 seminars, including over 1,000 TV and radio live performances. I did the programs on 9/11 on national television on what really happened there. There's only a few people in the world that have my background and credentials about what heat treating is, nuclear science.
He knows nuclear physics, guys. Trust him. No Pickles with $5 says, I worked 200 hours a week while going to school 150 hours a week. It's easy when you have a TARDIS. The Doctor and I are bros, I swear. He's a more studious version of Ken. Give Barbie a run for her money with multiple professions.
String threes in quantum physics. I have a 200 IQ. I read 400.
He has a 200 IQ. That's double the average. Bumble Homestead with $5 says, lurking and driving kiddo to ballet, I would have no idea what oddities are out there without your shows. Well, you're welcome. I'm glad I could enrich your life with crazy nonsense.
Nuclear science. String threes in quantum physics. I have a 200 IQ. I read 400 words a second in math codes. Threes in quantum physics. I have a 200 IQ. I read 400 words a second in math codes.
He just said he can read 400 words a second. You know how long a second is? Ready? That's it. That's a second. When that alarm goes off, this is a second. Ready? Go. Oh wait, ready, go. 400 words. He claims he can read 400 words in that period of time.
It's something that's acquired art. You can give me an inch of paper and of documents, and I'll blow through it in about a minute.
I would love, I know he's dead, but I wish I could go up to him at one of these seminars when he was still alive and hand him like papers, like he just said, and said, okay, read this, and I'm going to quiz you afterwards about the contents.
And I'll be able to tell you exactly about how many mistakes are in it and what to do about it. The program today is going to cover many different aspects. So I'm going to go through the parts of speech, which I wrote up here. It took 6 years of my life to discover this. It isn't really what you think it is. And what they teach you in school is not what you actually, is actually what's going on. And this isn't to insult anybody, but all of you have a second grade reading level.
That's a good way to ingratiate your audience, is to deeply insult them.
And it isn't just you, it's the entire population of the planet was instructed and through TV, radio, newspaper.
In first grade, it was I think it was first grade, I had a 5th grade reading level. So no.
In magazine.
Many people read above the second. I think the average is like 5th grade reading level, which is still too low, don't get me wrong. But like, no, even you're underestimating a lot of people.
To keep you in a second grade reading level, because that way they could harvest the entire population of the planet. There's a few individuals called federal judges.
Just a few federal judges.
And chief federal judges at a state level that control.
Chief federal judges at a state level. You're aware that federal judges are in states, right? Don't get me wrong. Of course, there are ones in, like, Washington, D.C. We have the Supreme Court. I'm aware. But, like, do you think most federal judges are in Washington, D.C.? Because they're, in different circuits throughout the country. Because that's how our court system works. Like, do you not know that federal judges work out of this different states? Like, there are federal courthouses in states.
What's called parse, syntax, grammar, and the secrets therein.
Oh, God. Piper's Animated World with a $5 super chat says, I wonder what would happen if this guy and Time Cube guy were ever in the same room. Would they click, or would their brands of nonsense clash? That's the crossover I want to see. Fuck Freddy versus Jason. Time Cube versus Quantum Grammar.
When I broke the code in 1988, I went to the United States Supreme Court. I walked in there in 1989, and I says, I'm here to prosecute William Rehnquist, Chief Supreme Court Justice of the United States Supreme Court.
It's easy to just walk into the United States Supreme Court and request one of the Supreme Court justices, by the way.
I was arrested for threatening the United States Supreme Court judge and taken into a closed room. Well, when we got down in that room, I had 6 marshals standing shoulder to shoulder surround me, and William Rehnquist came down from up in his chambers to...
Yes, I'm sure a Supreme Court justice came down to see the crazy person who was trying to arrest him. This is a real story that happened.
See me, and I says, I have your signed confession for treason against the United States people. I said...
You have his signed confession? You filled out a confession for him and signed it? That's not how confessions work.
I've used parse, syntax, grammar against your opinion since you've been in office. He says, okay, guys, you can all leave now. Mr. Miller and I are going to sit in this closed room. You've already frisked him. He has no weapons. He doesn't seem to be of stature that can overpower me. And we're going to have a little discussion. So for the next 2.5 hours, William Rehnquist and I became very good friends. And
yes, I'm sure you really became friends with that Supreme Court judge. That's a real thing that definitely happened.
Until he died, and I removed him from office in June of 2005.
You removed him from office? What does that mean?
We were pretty good friends. I taught him syntax, the math interface on grammar, and he taught me all the secrets of the procedures of judges.
Trust me, guys. A Supreme Court justice taught me all this. It's for real legit. I don't have any pictures of me and that person together, but that's because it was a super secret.
But a lot of the things he taught me, he was in error of, because 2/3 of all the words were missing from the procedures by which he wanted to formulate answers. Now, believe it or not, we are all actors in a play that have been already written. All of you believe that you have a certain amount of choice to make in life. But the fact is, and I will do this later this afternoon when we get into some history programs, that we are on timetables that run on 7-year international, on domestic bankruptcies and 70-year international bankruptcies. These bankruptcies control the planet for the last 6,500 years in all countries. All countries worldwide are controlled by the post office.
I agree you shouldn't fuck with the post office, but like I don't think that's the case.
Not the courts, not the judges, not the kings and queens, but the postmaster.
Is this why some sovereign citizens have a weird obsession with the post office? Is it coming from this?
Of the world run the entire planet, have for 6,700 years.
The post office has controlled the world for 6,700 years. The post office.
Going all the way back to Pharaoh.
He is dead now, yes. His name is David Wynn Miller.
Henceforth the Masons. Now, a lot of you we're in this room today. A room is a closed area, so therefore it's a court.
Any closed area is a court? That's not how this works. My house is a court because it's closed?
Show you a dollar bill here, which you're all familiar with, and on the back of the dollar bill you have the eagle, right? Notice the eagle's wings are turned up. If you notice the eagle's wings here are turned down. That's because it's a phoenix. This is Vatican rule. Banking. And the flag here has yellow fringe on it. And the yellow fringe flag...
He's going to say it's an admiralty court or maritime.
Has a...
Or both.
Changes the dimension of the flag. This is a maritime braid.
It's not. American flags, in terms of the flag code, can have a fringe on them. It's like one of the only things in the flag code that's optional. An American flag can have a gold fringe. It doesn't mean anything specific. It just can or can't. Either or is fine. They're different styles of flags. Sometimes the gold fringe ones get used in, like, courts or for ceremonies because they're a little fancier. They're the special flags that aren't used as often, but they don't have any specific meaning. Gnome Pickles with a $5 super chat says, I cannot process this. I start to process something he has said, and in the time it takes, he says 4 worse things. Would I say this is a fringe belief? I hate you and all that you stand for in this world.
Commerce. The fringe changes the description of the flag.
It doesn't. It's not. No.
Under Army Regulations 840-10, Chapter 2-6, allows for...
You're not in the Army, and I don't even, based on how much you've lied so far, I don't even believe that the regulation you're citing exists. I don't know if it does or not, but it doesn't really matter. You're not in the military.
Fringe to be put on military flags for parades. But anything you put on...
So that's just, if that's even a real thing, like I said, is because it's the fancier one for, like, going out. It's the going out on the town flag.
On top of the flag cancels the contract of what a flag is.
A flag is not a contract. A flag is a flag. It's a symbol for a country or state, municipality, whatever. It could be for a club. Flags have, like, symbolic meanings often, but it's not a contract. It's some sort of artistic depiction that's supposed to be like, this flag is the flag of blank. Michigan, California, the United States, Canada, whatever. Countries have fucking flags.
So even though you think you're looking at a United States flag, United, UN means no, and ITE is citizen. A no citizens condition of state flag. Controlled by...
A lot of this is just going to be nonsense. That's nonsense. I'm not going to deconstruct it. There's nothing really to deconstruct. It's nonsense. He's just decided that certain sounds and words and prefixes or whatever mean certain other things because it's convenient to him and his belief system.
By Vatican banking. You're all under commerce. So who's the Vatican? They're postmasters. They work with Bern, Switzerland through the Universal Postal Union. On the 29th of September 2009, I did a seminar in Auckland, New Zealand. In that...
Jamie says, in honor of Johnny Hardwick and Relevant... Oh god, it's a link. Shit. You can't post a link in YouTube chat and have me see it. Can you give me the name of the video? I'd have to search it. Like, I can't copy-paste this, unfortunately.
At seminar, there were 90 Auckland tribal chiefs of the 1,200 tribal chiefs that live in New Zealand.
Can I, like, set it so that you guys can send YouTube links, I wonder? I don't know.
I then made a statement that the post office, since 1800, has never had a correct parsing, syntax, grammar, law, rule, regulation, or code in any language with any people on planet Earth. As a result of that, 72 hours later, 3 days, the United States Postal Service, which since 2000 has had a quantumized postal treaty with myself and Russell Gould, my business partner, 2 of us make corporate. On the 28th, on the...
Sent it in Discord DMs. Thank you. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Oh, God, we're on YouTube.
No, it's,
Let me see, is this fine? It'll be fine.
it's the funniest kind of mix-up, Your Honor.
If it cuts out for a sec, I'll be back. YouTube is weird about copyright stuff for live streams, just for the record.
Just one moment. I do not recognize the authority of a court that hangs the gold fringed flag. A flag with gilded edges is the flag of an admiralty court. An admiralty court signifies a naval court-martial. I cannot be court-martialed twice.
Unfortunately, the voice actor for Dale passed away today or yesterday.
That is all. Furthermore,
Bailiff, gag him.
He was funny.
27th of August, 1999.
Yeah, they were planning on doing a King of the Hill reboot. At this point, they should probably just drop it. Like, there was already the issue of not having Luann or Lucky. Maybe you could have gotten away with that, but now you also don't have Dale. Just probably let it exist as what it was. Don't bring it back and replace people. Just, it's fine.
I sued the United States of America for the flag of the United States. I filed a new quantumized mathematical patent
None of that meant anything. Using buzzwords doesn't mean something. Like, out of all the scam people, and I don't even know how much, like, I don't know how much of this is a scam and how much is he's just, like, not doing great mentally since the divorce. Either way, the people who listen to him have to be, like, the most gullible out of any of the people we've covered before being scammed. Like, I think this is, like, above the Bed Bath & Beyond people, which is shocking. They're still going, by the way. I posted a video about that to YouTube today. Bed Bath & Beyond people still going strong.
On the description of the flag of the United States, 1 to 1.9. And he used the correct grammar, called Parsee Syntax Grammar. As a result of that, on August 12, 1999, I owned the patents to the flag of the United States of America.
What? You think you own the United States flag? This land is your land? No, fuck you. This land is my land. I patented the United States flag.
And on August 13th...
By the way, Corvus, I've seen you do timestamps and stuff, and I appreciate it. I want you to know that's not something I don't notice. I notice the effort when you and other people do that, and I always appreciate it a lot. Thank you.
All flags had yellow fringe put on it because they had to change
No, they're not. Most flags do not have yellow fringe on them.
the dimension of the flag. Now, I don't know if you remember in 1968 when the astronaut, for those of you that are old enough, and I don't think there's a whole lot of you here that are old enough.
I so badly want the camera to just turn around and see how many people are here listening to this. Again, this is a conference that goes for 9.5 hours. They do take a lunch break in the middle. But imagine going and I don't know if they paid. I assume they paid. Paid to see this guy. And by the way, there's a website. There's a website where you can buy his book. Chat, how much do you think they're charging for his book? I don't know if this is the same amount that he charged when he was alive. But the people who own the rights to his book now, how much do you think they're selling it for? Okay, you're overdoing it a little, some of you. $200. And you're supposed to buy it by, like, sending a check or cash in the mail. Which is funny, considering he thinks the Postal Service is evil and in control of everything, right? But now the people selling his book are like, but also use the Postal Service to send us money, please. Oh. By the way, the world of, like, conspiracy, like, conference room lectures, I have another one right here. This is the super soldier guy. This is his, like, had this up for multiple different streams. I've had this up ready to go, and we've never covered it. I want to soon. I love the genre of conspiracies that is someone rented a room at, like, a hotel at, like, the Holiday Inn or something, and they're awkwardly sitting there and doing a presentation to a crowd about their stuff. Before the internet, this is how stuff like this was spread. Through books and through conferences. And it's so funny. And I want to find more stuff like that. The only ones I know of, though, are that one, Quantum Grammar Guy, and Time Cube. But there's got to be more, right? Like, there's got to be a ton of these people.
Astronaut.
Bob Larson is kind of that.
Stepped
Though not so much anymore. He's moved pretty much entirely online now.
off his spacecraft into his footprints on the moon. On the moon. Turned around, looked at Earth, and says, "Oh, look at Earth is a vessel in a sea of space."
What the fuck are you
And with that one single sentence, Earth is a vessel in a sea of space. That's maritime.
Maritime, by definition, is like a vessel on the water. Space isn't the ocean. You can poetically call it that, but it's not that.
The entire world put yellow fringe on every flag in all 250 countries and every...
No, they didn't. No, they don't. What? That's an American thing. Like, I don't know other countries. I don't know stuff about, it's called, like, vexillology or something, the study of flags, I think. Vexillology? Someone might know. Anyway, I'm sure there's like a whole interesting community of people who look into this kind of thing and know how flags work and how different countries. Vexillology? Thank you. I don't know if any other countries do fringe on their flags, though I can imagine, you know, as a style thing, it might be a thing in some places for certain circumstances. But this idea of the gold fringe specifically is an American thing. Like, I don't think Canada does that, to my knowledge, or if they do, like, I don't know if it's gold. I don't know. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of interesting flag information out there, but it is not true that every country has a gold fringe version of their flag. That is not true.
The courtroom in church and an office, making everything on planet Earth maritime. Maritime is controlled by the DOT, Department of Transportation, which is controlled by the Postal Service worldwide, Bern, Switzerland. Bern, Switzerland was established on the 22nd of October, 1871. In Hawaii was the first city, first country, as an independent nation.
What? Wait, hold on, what? I gotta re-listen to that.
Maritime. Maritime is controlled by the DOT, Department of Transportation, which is controlled by the Postal Service worldwide, Bern, Switzerland. Bern, Switzerland was established on the 22nd of October, 1871. In Hawaii was the first.
Bern, Switzerland was established in Hawaii? Do you think Switzerland is in Hawaii?
First city, first country, as an independent nation, to sign an international bank.
Hey, Carcosian. Hope your appointment went all right. Know that it's not the funnest.
Bankruptcy with Bern, Switzerland for 2 cents to transport cargo anywhere on planet Earth. And as a result of that, within a period of a year, all 250 countries for a 2-cent postage stamp signed up.
Does Canada have a fringe flag? Okay.
To give the post office authorization to transport vessels for a 2-cent postage stamp. Well, as you know, people were thinking of mail. Just send a letter. A letter is a vessel.
That's what the post office does.
Well, the word vessel includes cars, trains, planes, automobiles, overland stagecoaches, pony expresses, and human beings. And by doing so, they then captured all commerce on planet Earth by contract for a 2-cent postage stamp. A year later, it went up to a buck a letter. But they got their foot in the door, and that was all that was necessary.
Wait, did you just say you think that it went from 2 cents a letter to $1 a letter over the span of like a year? The rate of increase in the expense of stamps has been a gradual process over time. It did not go from 2 cents to $1 immediately. What are you talking about?
Somebody left a little tiny article sitting in a newspaper in January 8th, 1872, on a microfiche dish in Honolulu, Hawaii, in the Iolani Palace Museum Archives building. Hightower and I went into that building that day, and we wanted to look for a flag of Hawaii. And they said, we guarantee there is no information in this building from 1869 through 1875.
Was that when Hawaii was like annexed?
I'm going, no, why wouldn't
invaded? Whatever.
there be anything?
Colonized?
Hawaii's the center of...
Basically, shitty people came in and were like, this is our island now. So we have guns. Fucking assholes.
The Pacific. Anything moving from east to west and west to east has to stop at Hawaii to get coal, C-O-A-L, for fuel, as everything ran on steam back.
Stolen. That's a good word.
Back there. So Hawaii then became the center of the entire Pacific Rim. Hub to a wheel. Very, very important location. And by doing so, that started a series of events through the Universal Postal Union to capture the entire planet.
The Postal Union!
Throw the entire world into a postal zone. And this little tiny article, as it was put into place, was left there. Nobody thought anything of it. Well, we did find a flag on the newspaper. It had 8 stripes instead of 7. But there was also a little square 3 inches by 4 inches with the obituary. The obituary of the Portuguese Masonic eye, the French Masonic eye, the German scale, and the English scale. So now we had ordering all Masons in the Hawaiian Islands to come to Honolulu, Hawaii to pay homage to King Kamehameha V, who died on the 6th of December. I'm telling you the story because it is relevant to...
I feel like I'm offended on behalf of people. Any Pacific Islanders. I gotta imagine this is just like the fucking worst. This is terrible. Holy shit.
The beginning of the takeover of planet Earth. As a result of this, it takes a steamer 3 days to go from Honolulu out to Kona and Hilo and back again. So 3 + 3 is 6.
If any institution was going to run the federal government, I'd go with the post office. As long as DeJoy wasn't in charge, I guess. It would need someone in charge who isn't trying to dismantle it, but honestly, the Postal Service is pretty good in terms of efficiency and what it's doing. Like, it's really fucking impressive. This is gonna sound stupid. This is gonna sound so stupid. But let me just say this. Going to the moon is cool, although it was all basically Cold War dick measuring, you know? Going to the moon's cool. I think it's more impressive that we've been able to have a, like, federal United States Postal Service that operates relatively reliably for as long as we have. Just the logistics involved must be fucking insane. That's impressive. I think that's like a really good example of like, hey, government good actually. Government service good.
January 8th and 6th is January 14th. January 14th, all the Masons get together with the post office.
One day the post office will be as effective as the weather service.
Immigrations and Customs, the Supreme Court of Hawaii. Guess what building they're all in? They're all in the same building directly across from the Queen's Palace in Hawaii. Immigrations, Customs, the Lodge number 1 for the Masons, the Postmaster General of Hawaii, all in the same building. And they cut a treaty. The treaty says that there was, in 1848, a law was passed in Hawaii that if Hawaiians are dead or off the land for 20 years, the land is free for settlement. So they went ahead and...
I'm sorry, are you under the... What? Okay, let's just keep going. We're only 18 minutes into this 9.5-hour fucking seminar.
Masons signed this contract to take over the Hawaiian Islands.
Are you under the impression that, like... How do I put this? The kind of people who go and, like, invade somewhere like Hawaii and steal it from the locals, do you think they really give that much of a shit about, like, legality amongst themselves? Don't get me wrong, I've certainly seen situations where they, like, threaten, basically, or give an ultimatum, like, either you sign this over to us or all these yada 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 yada, you know. But, like, typically, historically, I think you'd just kind of be like, we're gonna take this. We don't need that much cover. We're in charge. We can do whatever we want. You know what I mean? Again, like, the Pacific Islands got absolutely fucked over. It's a tragedy.
Now, there's a law called the Rescissions Act. It goes all the way back to the Civil War. The Rescissions Act says that no law becomes legal for 3 days. And this 3-day notice, if you ever look at when contracts are signed, even when you all did your mortgages, either bought property or sold property, you couldn't pick up a check in your closing for 3 days. That's because of the Rescissions Act. That's Title 15, Section 1636 and 1639. Now, the Rescissions Act then went into effect on the 17th.
Let me look at that. Rescissions Act. Recessions are provisions of law that cancel budget authority previously provided to federal agencies before it would otherwise expire. The Congress can use rescissions along with other legislative tools to reduce federal spending. What is the law of rescission? When a party rightfully cancels a contract because of another party's material breach. what's the 3-day right of rescission regulation? The 3-day cancellation rule permits borrowers to renegotiate on certain mortgage agreements within 3 days without financial penalty. Oh, so is this specific to mortgages? And he's applying it to everything? Because I'm only seeing it either in a completely different meaning, in like, the legislature, but then I'm seeing it here in real estate as a specific thing for mortgage agreements. But I'm not seeing it as a general thing. The right applies when the borrower's principal residence is used as collateral and is provided a no questions asked basis. Okay, yeah, so it looks like this is just what he's talking about is a mortgage thing.
18th of January, 1872. Put a 20-year moratorium on it. It's January 17th, 1893, when the United States took over the Hawaiian Islands. For those that don't know anything about the Hawaiian Islands, takeover. Except it wasn't the United States of America that took over the Hawaiian Islands. It was the military, and the military is controlled by the post office.
No, it's not.
It was the United States Postal Service that took over the Hawaiian Islands. Now, as a result of this takeover, the injustice that people were a victim of.
This pisses me off when people take real-life tragedies or real-life fucked up things, and then they use it to back up their bullshit. Disgusts me.
Went out there and sued the state court.
No, this is not about mortgages. This guy thinks he figured out quantum language. He thinks he figured out objective language, and that's how he thinks he can beat the legal system. It's bullshit.
State court says, we don't have jurisdiction. You're in the wrong place. So the Hawaiians then went to federal court. They walked into federal court, United States District Court, and the district court said, you're in the wrong place. We don't have jurisdiction over you. You're a sovereign people. So they went to the United States Supreme Court in Washington, D.C. United States Supreme Court, Washington, D.C. You're in the wrong place. You sued the wrong people. They're going like, all right, we're being victimized. They stole our land. Who's guilty? So
that would be the United States, which I assume just also didn't want to do anything about it because that was what it wanted to do. The United States wanted to take over, so they did, because they're shitty.
From January 17th, 1893, all the way up until...
Like the Kenosha guy? Yeah, basically. Like Darrell... I'm blanking on his last name now, but that famous Sovsit guy, yeah.
January 6, 2009,
Brooks, Darrell Brooks.
Nobody knew who was guilty. As a result of that, because I'm a Mason, and I syntax Manly Hall's The Secret of All Nations with Masons throughout the history of this world for 8,500 years. I have the book. There's only 5 copies on planet Earth.
I didn't bring it with me. I didn't take any pictures. But trust me,
I own one of them.
I read it out of a I read it out of a hat using golden plates too.
And when I syntax that book is 18 inches tall, 1 foot wide, and 2 inches thick.
Oh, I'm sorry, not Kenosha. Waukesha. I apologize.
It's now 6 inches thick because of all the missing words were put back into it. Covers everything in the planet, every religion, the tarot cards, witchcraft.
Witchcraft isn't real. At least not actual magic. I know there are Wiccans who do, like, rituals and stuff, but, like, you know, magic isn't real. It doesn't do anything. It's fine that it's, like, a ceremonial, spiritual thing for you, but, like, you know, magic isn't real.
Grammar, all the parts of speech, parse, how words come together. It's got all the secrets in it. But the secrets were only written in adverb-verb, not prepositional phrases. So when I rewrote it with...
I find it funny, by the way, this is a separate thing. Pop witchcraft is interesting to me. Because, like, I find the aesthetics of witchy stuff really cute, you know? Stars, moons, cats, you know, witch hats, brooms, you know? Kind of a dark academia with also arcane stuff going on. I love it as an aesthetic, and I think it's super cute. But also, like, you'll go to the store, like, whenever I go to Barnes & Noble, which is... relatively often, there's books there that are always in the, like, discount section, and it's always, like, spells and stuff. And it's like a book for $10, and it's like, even if magic was real, which it isn't, let's imagine magic was real for a second. You wouldn't print it in a book and sell it for $10. I'm just saying.
With the correct parse syntax.
You would keep it a secret, and you would either help yourself or others, or invent the Death Note.
Grammar, I then had missing secrets. I did the same things through the Quran for the Muslims, and I did it through the Bible, King James Bible. I was able to discover the secrets.
You're lucky Barnes & Noble is dead around here. I am actually lucky. Yeah. The Barnes & Noble near me has a decent Blu-ray and DVD section. They carry Criterion and Arrow stuff. Unfortunately, I almost never buy anything from there because it's all way overpriced. Like, Barnes & Noble overprices everything. Lego sets, a lot of comic books are overpriced there. It's a fun place to look around, though, and I like Barnes & Noble as just like a vibe. Ours is attached to... There's like other stores around, so I don't usually like go, I'm gonna go to Bed Bath & Beyond. I think to myself, I'm gonna go to these other stores, and then Barnes & Noble, rather, sorry, is right there. So I check it out. I don't know, I like the vibe. People sitting around reading, coffee, smelling Starbucks, looking at different books and Blu-rays and stuff. They do, a couple times a year, though, Barnes & Noble will do a Criterion sale, and all their Criterion collection stuff gets half off, which puts it at, like, the normal price it is usually on, like, Amazon, when it's not new stuff, at least. So, during their Criterion sale, very worth it to check it out. They're also doing an Arrow sale now, I think, the month after the Criterion sale. Haven't been there, though, and I'm slowing down on Blu-ray stuff anyway. I have over 2,000 things in my Blu-ray collection at this point. I'm still gonna, don't get me wrong, I am still pursuing growing my collection and adding things as they are released when I can, as long as they're not, like, super expensive. But, I'm trying not to buy a bunch of random stuff I don't need right now. I did watch a movie today, though. Watch Nightbreed. It was pretty good. It's pretty good. David Cronenberg was in it as an actor, which was surprising. Written and directed by Clive Barker of Hellraiser fame and Rawhead Rex fame. It's alright. I've heard the director's cut's better, and I saw the theatrical cut, so I always make myself watch the theatrical cut before a director's cut, even if I know the theatrical cut's worse. I watched Blade Runner theatrical cut first. Don't do it. It's bad. Just either watch director's cut. My favorite is the final cut. If you're gonna watch Blade Runner, do either director's or final cut. Personally, I like the color grading that was done in final cut, but I understand that that's something a lot of people might not like. But at least don't watch theatrical. Oh my god, the voiceover Harrison Ford does is so bad.
Putting me as the chief federal judge of the United States.
When Harrison Ford had to do the voiceover for the theatrical cut of Blade Runner, I'm sure someone else has made this joke or question before. I don't even know if it is a joke. Is that the moment Harrison Ford's love of acting died? Because it feels like Harrison Ford has hated being an actor for, like, 30 years. But he still does it. It's fine. Just weird. It seems like he doesn't really like it that much. Other than it, he likes Indiana Jones, I think. I think that's about the only thing I've seen him like doing. Whatever.
United States of America.
He hates Han Solo, which is hilarious.
Prosecuting judges for the past 32 years. That's what I do. I prosecute judges. I'm the bad boy.
We've taken an hour to get 21 minutes of a 9.5-hour presentation. I might have to cancel my 10 a.m. stand-up tomorrow. I want to do stand-up so bad. I need to find an open mic near me and just make myself do it. I think that would be fun. I think I'd be decent at it. Of course, you're bad at everything at first, But I have experience being funny sometimes. I don't know how well it would translate to people in front of me, but it's worth a shot. Anyway, yeah, we're not watching most of this video today. This might end up having to be like, whenever we do a subathon again, I think one of the goals is going to have to be make me sit through the entirety of this or other. He does other seminars too. This or other seminars in their entirety. No breaks. I just got to sit and do it.
As a result of
Who can hate Han? I like Han Solo as a character. I like Han Solo. I didn't even hate the Solo prequel movie. Don't hate me for that. I thought it was serviceable.
this, the reason I told you this is because everybody wants you to walk into the state court. Well, state is
Blade Runner has more cuts, I think, than Metropolis. Though, if you're counting fan cuts, there are probably a lot of fan cuts in Metropolis because it's in the public domain, so anyone can do whatever with it and release it themselves.
undefined. You live in the state of Indiana, right? That's
We
not
should come up with some, at some point we should come up with some goals for like a next subathon. It's probably about time in the next month or so, month or two, probably subathon time. I don't know why I want to torture myself. Oh, the rules are going to be, this time, because of the previous times I've done the subathon, I've struggled because I push myself too hard until I burn myself out. There are going to be rules. I will stream during the subathon 8 hours a day until the subathon is over. That'll give me enough where I can still get up and eat in the morning and go to bed at a reasonable time and not be so burnt out that I, like, give up near the end. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. Have I seen Terror Vision? I love Terror Vision. Terror Vision is one of my favorite, like, cheesy, tongue-in-cheek 80s movies. In terms of, like, you know, how do I even describe that? Corny, self-aware horror movies from the 80s. I'm trying to think what even another example is of that. Terror Vision and like the 1980s Twilight Zone movie, The People Under the Stairs, which might have been early 90s. I don't know.
not a true statement. You live in the Indiana Territory. The state of Indiana is the name of the vessel in dry dock called your courthouse.
No, courthouses aren't boats.
All courthouses are foreign vessels in dry dock controlled by the Department.
Thoughts on Indiana? The only thing I know about Indiana is when I was a kid, Erie, Indiana was a TV show and I loved it. So that's all I know about Indiana.
The transportation.
Oh, and was there an American Chillers about Indiana? Hold on. Iron insects invade Indiana. I actually need to look something up real quick. Let me... Actually, I'll incognito. I don't know if any of these are like a thing anywhere else, basically. But they started as a thing. There was an author in Michigan who did horror books. And they were called Michigan Chillers. And each book was... It was sort of like Goosebumps type books. Very similar, in fact, to Goosebumps. Except they all took place in different cities in Michigan. So, for instance, I grew up not quite in Saginaw. It's where I lived when I was much younger, and it's where I went to school. So, the book for that was Sinister Spiders of Saginaw. I used to own this book, and it was about giant spiders invading Saginaw, which is fun. But they have them for all sorts of Michigan cities. But then they did American Chillers because he got popular enough in Michigan that he started, you know, branching out. Because, of course, Michigan Chillers is a pretty niche thing. He actually came to my school once. He did a lot of, like, touring because these were relatively popular books in Michigan. But then they did American Chillers, and these were, like, different states. So Wisconsin Werewolves, the Michigan Mega Monsters, Oklahoma Outbreak, South Carolina Sea Creatures, North Carolina Night Creatures. And I thought it was so fun because at the end of each of these books, they always had a cliffhanger. This was brilliant on the part of the author. This is the smartest fucking marketing thing ever, and I know he didn't invent this, but for a kids' book series, genius. these stories were all framed from, like, first-person point of views. The books were like, you know, oh, I'm telling you this story. And then near the end of the story, it would generally be revealed that they were telling this story to another kid, and that kid would be like, that's crazy, but you wouldn't believe what happened to me. And it would turn out it was a kid from another one of these books. So it would always kind of tease you with, hey, if you like this story, here's another kid that dealt with monster things. And it would be like, oh, to see that story, pick up, Yetis of Ypsilanti, or whatever it was. I think these are the secondary covers, though. The original covers were better, just like Goosebumps books. Yeah, like, these were the classic covers. They looked very Goosebumps. And then, just like Goosebumps, they were ruined. Have you seen the abomination that they've turned the Goosebumps covers into? Of course, we all know the classic, you know, Goosebumps-style covers. And by the way, you know, I respect R.L. Stine for helping bring, you know, so many fun books to kids. I liked Goosebumps books. You know, I grew up in the 90s. I loved Goosebumps books. My favorite one was actually The Cuckoo Clock of Doom, because it's a time travel story, kind of, and you guys know how much of a weirdo I am for time travel stories. Absolutely love it. But anyway, you know, they had a pretty specific style of cover, and as much as I do think R.L. Stine should get credit for the amount that he put out, I mean, he just constantly putting these books out. I don't know if did he also have a cocaine problem? Like, Stephen King? I don't know. Anyway, he'd get those out real quick. But I think really what made the series successful, at least initially, was the covers. The artist who did these covers should have been paid so much more, because I don't think the series would have been half as popular if it wasn't for these amazing covers. Look at this. As a kid, imagine you see this on a fucking shelf and you're like, oh my god, what is this? I need to read this. Stephen King was alcohol. He also did cocaine. It was both. Smith Black with a $5 super chat says, my favorite Michigan American chiller was when characters from the other books were in summer camp and used their powers to save the day. I guess I don't remember that one. Anyway, so those covers were cool, but in more recent years, they've started completely redoing the covers. And I know, it's all subjective, I guess, but I think the new covers are just fucking terrible. Let me see. Goosebumps covers old versus new. Okay, here are different ones. Oh my gosh. Mute. Okay, so the one on the left... Oops, sorry, thought I paused it. I'm gonna take my meds in a second, by the way. I am very distracted. Take your meds, chat. But anyway, on the left was the original, and then in 2010, the covers were redone. The first one is so much better. The first one looks like the cover of a VHS you might see at the video store in the 90s. It's genuinely evocative. Like, the one on the left is good, even if you're not a kid. It's like, oh, mysterious. The house is imposing because it's from a downward angle. The second one is too cartoony. First of all, look at the Goosebumps font now. It looks like a joke. It looks like... I'm not going to say it, but you know what I think it looks like, okay? Look at it. It's too goofy. It's at a Dutch angle. It's too campy. And I get it. Goosebumps are campy. I understand that. But the fun thing was that the covers weren't, you know? The covers... Look at the one on the far left. That's great. The one in the middle here actually isn't too bad either, from 2003. That one's okay. But the one on the far right is basically just a recreation of the first one, but way worse. Look at this one. Fucking terrible. The one on the left, oh, it's like a Polaroid photo, but they're spooky skeletons, and this one's just like, oh, it's a camera, and there's in the lens, there's a... Hate it. Awful. Can you tell I have hard opinions about things? Look at this. The one on the left. The one on the left is Chad Mummy. That mummy on the left is a Chad, okay? The mummy on the left fucks. The mummy on the right, loser, divorced mummy energy, has a podcast where they talk about how all the female mummies are gonna be mad that this guy's MGTOW, a mummy going his own way. Anyway, this has been Hannah's book corner. And I'm talking about a children's book for some reason. Whatever. Smith Black says, one thing I liked about Goosebumps as a kid was that not all of the endings were happy ones. Agreed. I really liked the and I know legally it's not Choose Your Own Adventure, because I think Choose Your Own Adventure is a registered trademark that is not owned by Goosebumps. But you know the kind of thing I'm talking about. They did Goosebumps Choose Your Own Adventure books, and I liked those a lot. I loved Choose Your Own Adventure books as a kid.
Haitian.
The one where all the children become dogs. My Hairiest Adventure.
In other words, the Port Authorities control vessels and dry docks.
Did I read the one where the kids visit a castle and end up going through time? A Night in Terror Tower. I want to say that one was. Yes.
All judges in the United States and all courthouses are paid by the Port Authorities. That's a very big secret. The Port Authorities are controlled by the DOT.
By the way, I never liked Slappy the Dummy, and I don't mean in a creepy way, I just think Slappy's annoying. He's better in the TV show. In the books, I never liked Slappy. I'm doing the meds. I'm not familiar with Pine Creek.
Department of Transportation.
Using the stream as background noise while playing Cyberpunk. Has it gotten any better? I had pre-ordered Cyberpunk, because I'm a fucking idiot. Never learn anything. So I pre-ordered Cyberpunk, and I played it originally on like a PlayStation 4 or something. No, I think I even started on a PlayStation 5, and it was god-awful. It was terrible. It wouldn't run at all. The crowd density was just terrible. The systems were bad. I don't know. Anyway, I got a refund for it in those first couple weeks. But I did pick it up again when it was on sale for like $15 or $20 at some point. Months and months ago or a year ago or something, and I haven't picked it up. Okay.
Which is owned by the post office, which owns the treasury and the
Get it on PC? Nah, my computer's not doing well with games these days.
military, and prints the money and pays the military to guarantee the value of the money.
Okay. I think I'm done with Quantum Grammar Guy for right now. At least this video. Let's look at some of the other videos on his channel. We'll save that for, like I said, like a subathon, where I have to watch the whole thing in one sitting. God damn, he has so many frickin' long videos. This man is nuts.
Honor of my,
I think this guy is like,
about my,
this guy is one of the like followers of the guy and has taken over like since he died, I think.
my friend.
I could do a Goosebumps stream. What, I just talk about Goosebumps? I don't know what I would talk about.
My corporate partner for many, many years. A genius and a really cool guy to hang out with. And it's just been a real honor in my life. Probably one of my best friends of all time. David-Win Miller. I've been through a lot with Dave. Great guy. When you're in contract with the guy, great.
I read one of the Fear Street books as a kid. I've not seen the Netflix series, mini-series.
Guy. Super smart. Will have your back. But as a friend, you know,
I don't want to make fun of this. This is literally this guy just talking about his friend who passed away, and I do believe the thing he and the guy that passed away thinks is nonsense, but I'm not going to make fun of a video of a friend literally talking about the death of his friend. That would be monstrous, and even I haven't gone that far. Alright, I'm going to save this for its own stream. Let's see what else is going on in the world, shall we? Ooh, I love bad martial arts. Have you guys ever seen, like, the fake martial arts stuff? Like where people think they're grifting and pretending they use like energy in order to like fight people. I love it. It's so silly. It's just absolutely the most Emperor's has no clothes thing ever. It's amazing. Read the Choose Your Own Adventure books and we can vote on the decisions. I mean, books are... I don't know if that would be okay. Just doing basically an audiobook live? I don't think that's allowed. I guess it's fine if I commentate, but I don't know. Just ridiculous. Remember when this guy... I don't know if you guys saw this. This was a while ago. This is when Disney opened their Star Wars Land. First, I think they opened it in Disneyland and then Disney World. To varying levels of success. But anyway, these are people who work for Collider, which is like a... You know, one of these channels that exists to like report on media news, but they are kind of access media. You know what I mean? In that Disney will send them tickets to things, and Disney will like give them merchandise and give them, you know, press passes to come to their premieres or their theme parks early to review them, you know, and in return, their coverage is quite nice. You know, it's not critical, almost ever. And the idea, well, it's not a direct bribe. The idea is that there's an implicit understanding that if you stop covering us favorably, we're going to stop granting you access to talk with us and access to events. It's a huge problem in media and reporting in general. But anyway, apparently Collider did get some sort of tickets or something. Someone got access in some way. But this guy up here is salty because he did not personally get a ticket to go to Star Wars Land early for a review. And he's very mad. So let's take a look at this adult man act like not an adult.
They see Collider,
Yes.
and they go, "Oh, it's everything."
Correct.
So everything that you know that
They already invited Collider.
well, they think
yeah.
right. They think everything that Christina and Haley will see is that they will now go on Jedi Council and do it, and that's not how it works.
Part of doing your job
And
is
talk
talking
about it. Yeah, but
yeah.
I'm going to be stubborn and say I don't want to.
Okay.
He's not going to talk about Star Wars on this show where they talk about, like, nerd franchises because he's mad that Disney didn't give him a ticket. I'm not going to talk about Star Wars anymore. All right.
I
You're
don't.
going to, though.
What's that?
You're going to.
I don't want to.
No, because it's our coverage. Haley's got a lot of really good interviews with Imagineers that she's going to be posting.
So first of all, I don't want you to do that on the air. You can call me in afterwards.
No,
So you
no.
know what? So then someone else hosts the show today. Someone else hosts the show today. You don't have. It's the second time you've done this. The first time you've done this, you burst in the door. You burst in the door and screamed at us because we played the YouTube video and we didn't know it. That was the first time.
I went in to let you know that you had been taken off the air already.
I know, but you screamed at us for
I
it.
didn't scream.
You
I opened
didn't?
the door.
Roxy, did he yell at us?
I said, "Hey, you were off the air."
Roxy, did he yell at us?
There's a clip. It's
You-
pretty.
you-
it's,
Yeah,
Dad,
the answer is yes.
You
yes,
yelled
yes.
at us, and you embarrassed us in front of Kate Mulligan, who was sitting here too. If you want to do this on the air, I'll do it on the air. I would much
No,
rather
you did. You started this on the air. You brought. You started the show by saying you're not going to talk about
Nerd Crew is
it on
hilarious.
Jedi Council,
And
which
I think they stopped it because William Shatner took it seriously.
is your show,
Okay.
but you're not the producer of it. And
I
it
am
was-
actually.
You're actually not.
Yes, I am. I'm actually. That was the deal I made with Fernandez.
No,
I'm also
actually, no,
just the
we have
same
a
way you didn't
producer.
know. The same
We
way
have a
you did. The
producer.
same way you didn't know that I was the fucking head of development at one point, and head of content. Where you're like, oh, I think you're just head
This is embarrassing.
of development. I walk in and
Like, this is so unprofessional. Like, I wouldn't consider myself a professional necessarily. I do this for a living and have for a decade. But I don't work for anyone, really. I'm a contractor, both for YouTube and for, Twitch. So, you know, I don't really have a boss in the way that most people do. I'm not professional in that sense, I guess. But I do think I have the common sense and decorum to be like, I'm on the air right now. I'm not gonna fight and make myself and this organization look like shit by doing this on air. Like, what are you doing? That's insanity. Who does this?
to Fernandez.
just a grown adult having a temper tantrum over the fact that they don't want to cover Star Wars on their show that covers Star Wars because he's mad he didn't get a free early ticket. Wild.
And it's like, oh, can you clear it up? Content and development.
You enjoy most of Star Wars? That's a completely reasonable thing. That's great. I don't consider myself a huge Star Wars fan, but I enjoy most of it. It's just not something I'm super into like I am Star Trek or Doctor Who. It's not a fandom that I'm in, let's say. As much as the concept of fandom has been destroyed over the last decade by weirdos like The Quartering, as much as you can be part of like a fan community discussing it online in your free time, kind of looking up lore stuff out of interest, I'm not really a Star Wars fan in that way, but I've liked most of the movies. I can even watch the prequels these days and have fun with it. The second one's kind of rough. The first one's fun and can be made fun of. Third one has some actual pretty good stuff, although it's still rough in that George Lucas way. Second one's just hard to sit through.
To which now is not the case. You are, and I get
It'd be like having a marital fight on stream. Yeah.
it. But first of all, if you want to do this on the air, we do it on the air.
Yeah.
But I am absolutely not talking about it today. You can have.
Last Jedi was one of my favorite Star Wars movies. It goes Empire Strikes Back for me, and then Last Jedi, or not Last Jedi. I'm sorry. The one everyone hates. Why am I blanking now? It goes The Force Awakens. The second one. Why am I blanking? Shit. I feel like I just said it and it dropped out of my head. No, I was right. The second one, right? The one that people hated because it killed stuff. Not Rise of Skywalker. Last Jedi? Okay, I was right then. Last Jedi is my second favorite Star Wars movie. I do not dislike the Luke characterization. I'm fine with it. I think a lot of people in their head, and I know I'm going off topic today, but whatever. Fuck it. I feel like a lot of people looked at Luke Skywalker in Last Jedi, and I understand some of the comedic stuff was maybe a little too much. I don't like how the one thing I would really, really criticize about the newer Star Wars movies is how much Disney tried to turn the humor into Marvel humor. And I like the Marvel movies for what they are for the most part. Holy shit, though. I don't think those jokes work in Star Wars. I don't think the quippiness... I don't know. But anyway, I like Last Jedi. I think it's good. I'm fine with Luke being who he is. And I understand if you read, like, EU stuff and wanted Luke to be characterized like that, I understand the disappointment. But we knew going into this that they were getting rid of the EU. And I'm fine with seeing Luke as a more, oh, he wasn't perfect. Like, he had problems, and he never really... He did his best. But he never really became the perfect Jedi he might want to be. He still has flaws, and that's okay.
Have Roka host it. How about that?
I mean, if you don't want to host the show because...
I don't want to.
Oh, I'm so sorry you didn't get to go last night.
You're welcome. See, you can if you want to do this again, we can do it all day long because you had the same thing, and what people also don't realize with you, you act hot-headed. You act hot-headed all the time. You scream and yell at people, but you want to do it now. We can do it now.
You don't want to cover Collider's content, is what you're just saying on Collider Live.
Embarrassing. Have a good night, Tar Xenomorph.
People of the state
Pro se litigant.
State of Michigan versus Benjamin Macario Martinez, 237407ST, 226707ST, and 162435FY. Concerning the matters then we were set over.
Hot take. Most of the Star Wars movies are not objectively good films. You just like them because they're fun and you watched them as a kid.
From last time.
Mandalorian's fun, though.
Mr. Downing, in regard to the underlying matters that are left open, has there been any progress?
Your Honor, an offer, I believe, was extended to Mr. Martinez by letter dated June 8th, while he's been incarcerated in the jail. We have not heard what his response is, so I will leave it to Mr. Martinez whether he wishes to enter a plea pursuant to that on the 2 files he has to that offer, or seek an adjournment.
All right, we're also here for sentencing on a number of contempt. In here today, had court last.
I didn't.
Have any plea bargaining. You have both of these cases here. What is your position in respect to whatever they sent you?
She's asking about, hey, they sent you plea bargain offers for these charges that you have. What do you think about it? Because he is a pro se litigant, meaning he has chosen to not get a lawyer, which is always a foolish decision.
I would like to file a motion to have charges all dismissed.
Okay, well, that's something you needed to file prior to the hearing. Also, I don't know if you have grounds to say that it should be done, assuming this is a sov-sit type thing.
Due to the speedy trial.
Have I seen Explorers? I don't think so.
Act. And also, I didn't get, last time we were in court, I expressed to the court that I wasn't able to have reasonable time or an adequate law books. They're old. I only got an hour and a half.
So what? Do you expect?
Sorry, there wasn't just a raw video.
Some rules for an hour and a half of studying, so out of freedom of speech and the rules of professional conduct.
This sucks. This guy doesn't even know what he doesn't know. That's not good.
I'd like to read my motions.
No, I don't think he's buzzed. I think he's been in jail. I don't think he's high or anything. I just think he genuinely has he's way over his head. And he's trying to be his own lawyer and he just can't. Because of course he can't. Like, I'd sound just as stupid if I tried to be my own lawyer, probably. I'd probably know to be quiet more, but like, I would never do that because I don't know anything about the procedure of law. I don't know law. That's why you get a lawyer.
All right, go right ahead.
For every waste of time and the more money of the people and their state, I would like to say this under the right of free speech, and I would like to invoke on my rights, civil and state laws, to state and file motions and to be treated fairly by judge and prosecution, to uphold all the laws that are to be held in the courts, and so as me representing myself can have a fair chance without having rights infringed upon by any members of the court, and I'm doing so. I'd like to file a motion to have all charges dismissed upon.
Let's take like 10% out of the military budget and put it into social work, adult education programs, job programs. I feel like we have solutions to our problems that we are not taking advantage of.
My rights being infringed and violated. Due to these reasons, rights to speedy trial and to have adequate time with representing myself, and in doing so, these are my civil rights and need to be enforced and protected. Not enough time to study, even after motion or the judge.
Right. That's why you're afforded the right to a lawyer, is because no individual who is a lay person has the time or foreknowledge to be able to become a competent attorney or equivalent within the time that a trial is happening. That's why you have a right to an attorney, which you should take.
Throughout plea, not able to study in a reasonable time, having defended myself when it was brought to the court's attention and prosecution, if need to. It's all on court record, transcripts and rights of trial by jury, and adequate time.
His right to a speedy trial to be
knowingly didn't explain what or help me, which is repugnant and biased by the court, and for also the court saying and giving false advice, and also for my bond being excessive and also biased in setting bond, retaining for more.
Wow, this just goes
failed during the time of the one failure to appear.
Oh my God, it never ends with this. The gay trial won't
too fair that with having to go against people that have 8 years of schooling versus my hour and a half when I've...
That's why you're offered an attorney who also went to school. You have a right to an attorney, and you also have the right to represent yourself. What you don't have is the right to take the time to train yourself to be as adequate as an actually fully trained lawyer, because that would take literal years and schooling. That's not how this works.
Asked every day to go to the...
Yeah, the channel this is on is Team Skeptic.
Law library and kited, and there's no way that my act to speedy trial, if you need that read, can ever be met. And I got a bunch of federal laws to that. If we have to go through all them, why? Or I can write them up in a motion to have more reasons for dismissal.
All right, thank you, Mr. Martinez. Mr. Downing, do you wish an opportunity to respond, or do you want an opportunity to do a written response?
Return of the Jedi is interesting in that individual segments of the Return of the Jedi are great. The Jabba sequence, awesome. Luke and the Emperor finally facing off in the final confrontation, really cool. A lot of the Endor stuff, cool. The problem is it doesn't really all fit together right. Like, the whole Jabba stuff, I know they had to do it, and it's a cool scene, but it is kind of just a plot cul-de-sac. They had to go get Han, and decided to make it a whole, like, long intro. Again, individually, parts of the movie are great. When put together, it's awkward.
Or where are you at with that?
That's a very rambling, if you want to call it, motion. I don't know how any kind of speedy trial is impacted here, in as much as one of these was just set for trial, and the first trial date was today. He also failed to appear on the other one. He's set for sentencing on that. If he's complaining about legal research, he has a right to a court-appointed attorney to assist him in advising him of all that. I do note the record 2 handwritten responses from Mr. Martinez in response to Ms. Cass's offer letter asking to discuss the offer with her. It says nothing in there about speedy trial or anything of that nature, to the extent that he's setting himself up or trying to set himself up.
You know the name of Lando's co-pilot? Oh god. I know who you're talking about. He's an alien, he's got big eyes and like weird flaps here.
These objections, I don't think there's any basis for it whatsoever. But if the court would like a written response, we would need a transcript of what he has rambled on about here in order to decide what it is.
Which is it, Mr. Martinez? You want to represent yourself, or you want a lawyer?
I want to represent myself, but I also was given false information by some court officers that I wasn't allowed to have a standby counsel or have advice by a counsel, and I know...
You can be offered standby counsel. I don't know if that's something that you have a right to. You have a right to an attorney, and you have a right to defend yourself. I don't necessarily think you have a right to standby counsel to get advice from while being a pro se litigant. Often it's offered, but I don't know if that's like a legal requirement.
Oh, there's also a federal law that says that I'm able to have third-party advice. So I like I said, I only got out for 2 days, really, in the last 2 days. I don't know how I'm supposed to be able to study upon the law, which I stated last time, that the law books are, and pages are missing out of them, and I showed guards that last night. Like, there's no way that will have 30 days to be able to study and defend.
Right, and that's why you're being offered a lawyer.
Myself from the time of this trial, and it states that there's a federal law that, and if you want to see the Speedy Trial Act, I have it right here. I can read it off.
Neen Nyumb. I'm not gonna remember that name.
Pretty familiar with that. I've been at it about 35 years now.
Okay.
So in regard to the matter, Mr. Martinez, your motions are denied. In regard to your lack of a speedy trial issue, the following is my finding. One, first off, I'm going to sentence you on all of these failures to appear in contempt of courts. Last week you had the opportunity. I dismissed and purged 2 of them. If you pled on 2 of them, we got through the whole plea colloquy on that, and oh, you didn't want that either. So then we went through the hearings, and I found you guilty of 4 contempts because you failed to appear 3 times and you haven't paid. We're looking at a, what, 2016 case that you still haven't paid on. So this is my sentence. You want to say anything in respect to your failures to appear sentencing before I impose sentence? Mr. Martinez.
Yes, there's federal laws state and that you cannot imprison somebody for fines being unpaid.
Yeah, fines, but not court-ordered. Same but good from the...
And I already told you that I can prove that I wasn't there. You guys know the law. You're supposed to uphold it on both sides. I know that.
Well, I made my findings. You are able to appeal anything you wish.
You gave me bogus
Mr.
information.
Martinez.
You're not supposed to give me legal information. That's not you're not.
She's not supposed to give legal advice. She can give you information. She can't give you advice.
Supposed to do that. The only thing you can tell me is I can go by representation or I'm allowed to have an attorney. You gave me bogus laws to look up and information and you were biased. So there's another reason.
Well, Mr. Martinez, your objections are noted for the record and preserved. In regard to the matter on the failure to appear and failure to pay in 162435 FY, I'm imposing 45 days in jail, 23 days of credit on both counts. In respect to 226707 ST, 2 failures to appear, 45 days in jail, credit for 23 days concurrently with the other case. In regard to your, I'm going to try the newer one first. Those, the matter then.
I'm just curious if he says anything after
proceedings. Should I give him a PR? I don't have any consideration, and if you wish to file an appeal but are financially unable to do so, MIBC will appoint a lawyer for you if that requires anything changes, and that's $100 a month on that outstanding 2016 case. All right, thanks to the jail. That'll be it.
I honestly feel bad for that guy. I feel bad for a lot of sovereign citizens, but I definitely felt bad for that guy, and that, like, he is so in over his head. He does not know what he does not know. Taking advice from Quantum Grammar guy. Oh, God. This is one of the Canadian Freedom Convoy people getting pulled over. Would it surprise you to find she is also kind of a soft sit? This is a Freedom Convoy song I think she's playing.
Oh, he's pulling me over.
Oh boy.
Let's go.
Yeah, get out of your car during a traffic stop. That's a good idea. That's a joke. That's not a good idea. If you've never been in a traffic stop and don't know what to do during a traffic stop, I would highly recommend you look it up. Because, like, cops are scary. Don't get out of the car. Never get out of the car. Keep your hands visible. If possible, keep them on the wheel while the police officer approaches. Because cops are skittish. Don't get out of your car.
Fucking. You're not stopping me for nothing.
It's a double negative. So we're stopping you for something.
Okay, you're gonna be under arrest. Stay away from me. Stay away from me. I don't trust you. Bring a lady if you're gonna fucking arrest me. You don't have touch. Yes, it does. I'm indigenous and you don't. Stay away from me. Fucking stay away from me.
I don't think she's actually indigenous. She's indigenous in the way that a lot of sovereign citizens claim they're indigenous, but not really by everyone else's definition of indigenous.
I guess so. I guess so. I don't have to do nothing. I'm not saying nothing. I'm not saying nothing. You have no rights over me. I live
You are talking, so you're not saying nothing. That is true.
by common law. I'm sovereign.
How's that working out?
Okay. Are you gonna give me your driver's license, registration, insurance?
I'm not saying nothing. I'm not saying nothing. You need to get somebody. No, you need to get somebody to arrest me that's female. You touch me.
I'm pretty sure you can request the gender of the person who searches you if you're going to be patted down in some circumstances, though I'm not positive. I'm not a lawyer. Don't listen to me for any kind of legal anything, okay? I don't think just for the arrest, though.
You touch me, and you're in trouble. You assaulted me now, and touched me, you're in trouble.
Arresting you isn't assault if he just arrests you. That's not how this works. You could be assaulted while being arrested, but that's not what's happening so far.
Yeah, and am I going anywhere? Leave me alone and wait. No, you don't touch me. Or you don't touch me. I am not. You don't touch me. Don't get out of my car. He pushed me. He pushed me. He pushed
Yeah, this cop is too pissed off too.
me. He cannot go in my vehicle. Get a female. Get a female. Get a.
Oh. Cops really like to end things as quickly as possible, even if, like, it could have been dealt with more calmly. I get it. That lady's not right. That lady's clearly panicking. But a panicking person isn't necessarily a person you have to physically take down. I don't think she was a danger to you in any way. She was just, you know, being weird. You want to see that guy's update on the Barbie movie after it's made, I think this is right before it made $1 billion. But this is right before. So let's see what he has to say about it.
Howdy, y'all.
Ooh, that's a little loud.
I am Adam, the Renaissance Nerd. We have been trying to dissect, trying to analyze and figure out the Barbie phenomena for...
This is the third video he's made about this, if you haven't seen my other coverage. This is his third video, at least, where he's like, why is Barbie so successful? Because he's one of these get woke, go broke guys whose entire channel is based upon, I don't know, grifting and catering to weird, terminally online people who think that feminism has destroyed their life by putting women with agency in Star Wars, which is funny, because Princess Leia already did that. She already had agency and stuff. But apparently now it's Marxism or something.
For 2 weeks now. A week ago, when it had its huge opening weekend, I am on the record saying it was going to keep making money this weekend. It was not going to have a massive drop-off. I maintained a theory that going into here...
I've not played any of the Baldur's Gate games. I've heard it's good, but I just don't know anything about it.
We are week 3, that it may have a drop-off of sorts. However, I think that theory is now out the window. It looks like, here it comes, I was wrong.
Good. Glad you can admit it.
Barbie, this week in its second weekend, had
I've heard there's tieflings in it. And you guys know how I feel about tieflings.
incredible holds. I said last weekend, 50% drop.
Is it an official D&D game? Is it like a turn-based RPG with D&D mechanics?
No, it only dropped 43.
Is it based on 5e mechanics, or does it have its own system? I'm fine either way, I'm just curious.
Percent.
Or is it based on the newer system, the D&D 1 or whatever? Baha, you don't know that. You don't know that. Also, how would you feel if you... Maybe we should pick up a pair of horns for no particular reason. Not the tinfoil ones, but, you know, more tieflingy ones. That might be fun.
In a week to week. Its original weekend haul of over $300 million globally has skyrocketed to the moon.
Man, it's almost like Barbie's a good movie. Like, this isn't even... I'm not even kidding when I say this. Barbie is one of the best blockbuster films to come out in years and years and years. It's a smart movie, it's a fun movie, it's a funny movie, it's entertaining, it's poignant, it's a beautiful movie, it's edited well, the soundtrack's good. Like, it's overall just a really great movie. And this is probably my favorite blockbuster movie since Avengers Endgame. And I'm just gonna say this, even as a Marvel fan. Barbie is a better film than Avengers Endgame. I like Endgame as an event film, just like I like event comics from Marvel. It's fun, but that doesn't necessarily make it a great film. Barbie's a great film. I'm planting that flag. Baja says, LMAO, I'm your wife and sexual partner. Don't know how you feel? Doubt. I was trying to think if I wanted to say it. Never mind. Okay.
To $774 million.
You can pick a tiefling barbarian as a party member, and the cleric in the party immediately has gay thoughts about her. Beautiful.
Last weekend I said, oh, it'll make a couple $100 million more. No, it made $400 million more dollars.
Yeah, Barbie's like a really entertaining, fun movie.
I was wrong.
And also, just like, frankly, I said this before, I know this is like a crazy statement. It's the most widely spread piece of feminist media in history. Which is weird to say. But, like, seriously, and maybe am I just blanking on something? Is there a film or book, individually, that is this strong and unabashed a pro-feminist message that has been this big financially and in terms of viewership? It's funny to say, but is the Barbie movie the most widespread piece of feminist ideology ever made in media? It's a genuine question. If I'm wrong, good. But, like, to me, it's kind of wild to think about. Handmaid's Tale is popular. I don't think it's as popular as Barbie's been. But Handmaid's Tale's probably up there. I would agree. Which is funny, considering that the lead actress, whose name I'm forgetting, is, like, not a feminist, and it's gross. She's, like, in Scientology and weird about things like that. It's not good.
But part of that wrong...
I still haven't seen past season 2 of Handmaid's Tale. It got too depressing for me.
...is tied in the fact that
I'll watch again someday. Maybe after Trump dies and there's less open fascism happening. Or fascist apologia. You know, once it's more in the realm of, like, oh, interesting hypothetical, and less like, oh shit, there are people who actually want this all over the place.
Up until...
Wonder Woman collectively is bigger. Wonder Woman's maybe a bigger movie, but it doesn't have as strong and central a message about feminism. Like Barbie, if you haven't seen Barbie, it is, like, in your fucking face about this, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I said this before. I think a lot of things with, like, feminist messaging feel the need to pull punches, and this movie did a little of that. I'm not going to say it does none of that. But a lot of the time it feels like it's still within the framework of, like, okay, we don't want to upset men too much, though, right? And this was like, no, we're just going to say the thing, and also, like, men are cool and valid, and you should be yourself, and also patriarchy hurts you, too, which is a great message, and true, but it didn't, like, sugarcoat it too much. Not too much. Again, it's still a big Hollywood movie, but it's pretty good for a Hollywood movie. Fight Club was anti-toxic masculinity, not pro-feminism. Yeah, true. True. And also, a bunch of people don't understand Fight Club. They think it, like... Someday we gotta go down a rabbit hole of, like, film bros. And you guys know, I always bring this up. You guys know what a film geek I am. I love film. I love analyzing film. I love reading other people analyzing film. I think it's a beautiful thing. It's my favorite media form, you know? Just my personal favorite. And I like TV shows and stuff too, but I enjoy a feature motion picture, okay? I think if you can tell a story between 1 and 3 hours, perfect. Nice. Oh my god, I lost my train of thought. Of course I did. Holy shit. Oh, one day I do want to go down the rabbit hole of, like, watching film bros misunderstand movies like Scarface, Fight Club, The Wolf of Wall Street, American Psycho. Like, these are all movies that are pretty good movies, great movies in some cases, but oh boy, some dudes on the internet very much, and in real life, did not get the point of them at all. Oh, thanks, Christopher B. Whenever you get to this point, I know you're behind, but thank you. Maybe we will do a Goosebumps stream someday. That might be fun. I don't own any of my Goosebumps books anymore, unfortunately. I'm sure I could get a bunch of them on eBay for like $10, probably like 20 or something. I can't imagine they're expensive. There were millions of them printed.
Just yesterday.
I bet if I went to... There are plenty of used bookstores around here, too. If I went into one, I could probably find a bunch of Goosebumps books. And they'd have that smell. That library smell. I want to go to a library. I haven't been to a library in so long.
I did not really understand.
I've seen the first 2 episodes of Peacemaker. It was really good. I plan on getting to it eventually.
Understand this phenomenon. Because phenomena are just that.
Wonder Woman was definitely the best film of the DCEU. Let me take a look at the list. DCEU. Let's see what movies are in it for sure. I'm gonna say The Suicide Squad is the best. Not Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad. And under that I would put Shazam. Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman might be above Shazam. The first Wonder Woman's pretty good. So it'd probably go for me... The Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, Birds of Prey, Shazam, and then fuck all the other ones. The Batman is not in the DCEU. The Batman is its own movie. It's not in the DCEU. The DCEU basically means the Snyderverse. The universe the Justice League movies take place in. Both the theatrical and the Snyder Cut. How many of you also sat through the Snyder Cut, by the way? I really wish film bros on the internet didn't wish that evil on us, because I watched it and holy shit. I'm not gonna lie, it is a better put together story as a whole than the theatrical Justice League, but it is not a story I liked. It was still terrible. I still hated the vast majority of the characterization. And oh my god, he released it in black and white because he's a pretentious bitch. And I like black and white films, but I hate when someone just puts like, ooh, here's black and white. Okay, well, you need to shoot something for black and white, generally. Like, usually applying a black and white filter, desaturating, doesn't a black and white film make, you know? You're not making Citizen Kane because you desaturated your picture. Did you light for it correctly?
They're somewhat unexplainable, unpredictable, and a lot of times...
The only movie in color that is better in black and white is probably The Mist. And that was because it was originally shot and supposed to be in black and white, and then the studio made them do color because they chickened out.
You never know, really.
Oh, I still haven't seen Wonder Woman 84. I don't intend to, especially after I heard about the weird, non-consensual thing. I already wasn't that interested, and then I heard that, and I was like, I don't even care. I don't even care.
Really, where they're gonna end up. Barbie was not made for me.
Correct, I guess. I mean, I think you could enjoy it, though. Like, I've seen men your age, cis, het, white men go and see it and enjoy it. It's a pretty funny movie.
I haven't seen
Ed Wood is good, but Ed Wood was shot in black and white. So.
it. I'm not going to see it.
Ed Wood's a great movie. I don't mean to... It's just wrong to speculate. They're long dead. I think it's okay, because Ed Wood has been dead for a very long time. Don't take this too seriously. I have wondered if Ed Wood was a trans woman, because I know you guys know that, like, he did the cross-dressing thing. He liked Angora sweaters and stuff, which is fine. There are, of course, like, cis men who cross-dress, and that's totally fine. I don't have any issue with that. People do whatever they want. That's fine, as long as you're not hurting anyone. I don't know. I just got the impression, like, when I watched Glenn or Glenda, one of his early films, one that is specifically about gender dysphoria, and about someone transitioning, a trans woman transitioning medically and socially to be a woman. That movie was written by Ed Wood and directed by Ed Wood, and it's, how do I put this? It's pretty good for, like, a trans film from, like, the 1950s or 40s. It's shocking. It's shockingly good for the time. Like, it's not, like, a good movie. Like, it's Ed Wood, so obviously it's, like, edited weird and stuff. But in terms of the content, what do you mean I'm being holier than thou? I'm just trying to preface. I don't want people to ever think I'm trying to be mean. Genuinely, like, what do you mean holier than thou? Let me know. I'm just trying to preface so people don't think I'm intruding on someone who really lived. Anyway, Glenn or Glenda, we watched it on stream once, and we'll probably watch it again at some point, but it gave me the impression that if Ed Wood had grown up today, might have been a trans woman. Who knows, though? It's impossible to say. The person's dead. The thought patterns espoused, though, just are very eggy.
I'm not going to review it and I'll talk about it. It was not made for me, and that perhaps
you saw it as a trans metaphor. I also thought of it as you could definitely do a trans reading of Barbie. 100%. I thought the same thing, especially with that last gag. Again, not to be trans medicalist, but that last gag was pretty funny, and to me went, oh, there's gonna be trans interpretations of this film, and you could definitely do that. It's a good movie.
Was part of the barrier, because let's be honest, when we get yelled at by the SJWs and the woke talk,
the SJWs, oh my god, is it 2012 again? I'm horrified. I don't think I've heard anyone say SJW in years. Like, that faded away. I bet if you looked at, like, a YouTube interest section that's, like, SJW versus woke, I bet it almost is an exact... Let's take a look. Let me go to Google Trends. Woke. Oh, that actually isn't, like, as crazy as I thought it would be. What is this? Oh, that's the past day. 2004 to present. Oh, it's gone down quite a bit. Wow. That's surprising. Past 5 years probably would be easier for this. Yeah, sure. So it peaked, it looks like, in terms of searches for woke. Why can't I see the top of this? It peaked in, like, earlier this year? Like in March, maybe? In March, and there was another spike, like, last month? Did DeSantis do something stupid? Anyway, let's add another one. SJW. Oh! SJW is surprisingly way less than I thought it would be. That's pretty crazy. Let's try social justice warrior. Okay, I was wrong. Woke is its own thing, although you can imagine years ago it was used less as a pejorative, because it was at one time in the lexicon to describe being aware of social issues, and then of course it was co-opted by the right in order to make fun of people who care about social issues and the well-being of others. It's interesting. What about the Wolverine in black and white? I haven't seen that cut, so I can't say. SJW was more of a 2016 thing. Oh, no. That started earlier. That was like a Gamergate thing. Gamergate. I don't know if Gamergate invented the term SJW, but it, like, 100% was used by them. It was either invented by or co-opted by Gamergate, which was like 2012 to 2014 or something. 2011 even, yeah. Gamergate was the stupidest fucking thing ever. And it turned out apparently Bannon was involved in that. Did you guys know that? Bannon intentionally helped AstroTurf. Steve Bannon, former chief strategist for Donald Trump, intentionally used that to try and, like, rile people up and, you know, used it as a pipeline. Crazy.
It's constantly saying, oh, this isn't made for you, this isn't made for you. But half the time, well, no, I'm sorry, 100% of the time, the stuff they're talking about, no. Those franchises that they have bastardized.
Men own Ghostbusters. Men own Star Wars. Go fuck yourself. You think women don't also like a lot of the same movies you like? You think women just don't like movies? Because for the majority of American history, the films coming out of Hollywood were mostly made with men in mind. Like, the idea that... the idea that, like, men own the concept of Ghostbusters is so weird to me. I didn't like the 2016 Ghostbusters movie either. It wasn't because they were all women, it was just because it wasn't a funny movie.
Feminized and wokeized, it was made for me. Male.
I hope every franchise should get force-femmed.
Dominated franchises.
Force-femmed and dominated. This guy doesn't have any underlying things going on.
Barbie is not a male-dominated franchise. That part I understood. What I didn't understand, and I do now, one of the major factors of his success, passion. One of the catchphrases that I throw out a lot on this channel for the past couple years now is, passion is key. Well, that's not the catchphrase. The catchphrase is, fans are the lifeblood of everything. And fans have passion. I didn't
Is he gonna be like, no, fans of Barbie are seeing this even though they also think it sucks? Is he gonna say that?
Understand the passion for Barbie.
I will never not be shocked by, like, men's shock that women like things sometimes that are different than their things, which, this is a weird example anyway. It's Barbie. It's pretty funny. To everyone, I think, that isn't crazy.
When I was discussing it yesterday on the round table, it clicked for me. I thought about Star Wars in the mid to late 80s when it waned a bit and it just became all about the merch.
Again, like, does he think that women don't like Star Wars? Like, Star Wars would not have become the global phenomena that it is if women weren't also interested. I've actually seen this, and this pisses me off. Here. Oh, look, I'm live. Star Wars 1977. News. This might be the one. You can see a news report. I think this is the one where they're talking about Star Wars, and you can see the audience for the first Star Wars movie. Hint, it's not all white guys. It's not all straight white guys.
The first of what the makers of Star Wars started forming at 7 a.m. outside London's Dominion
If this
Cinema.
is... Oh, wait, this is the UK one. This isn't the one I was looking for. Hold on. There was one from the US, and it had a whole bunch of fucking people. I know I've seen it before.
Crowds have filled the 1,100 seats in the theater almost daily. In only 9 days, Star Wars has grossed more money than in the crowds. Why are you waiting in such a long line to see a movie?
Well, we've just been looking
Sorry, let me balance this. Better.
forward to seeing it. We've waited about a week. We were hoping the lines had kind of diminished, but we just kind of wanted to see it tonight. We're pretty enthusiastic.
This wasn't what I was looking for either. Gosh damn it. A girl's review of the new movie Star Wars. That makes sense.
Star Wars is...
If the channel goes down for a second because CBS doesn't want me to play this, I'll be back in just a second. Just leave the page here, it would come back.
It's a modern-day fairy tale, which I really liked because it took me on an adventure. I really understood Robot R2-D2's feelings when he was scared and when he was crying. I especially liked the special effects, especially the moving monster chess figures. My favorite part was when the stars, Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, Han Solo, and Chewbacca the Wookiee were stuck in the garbage compactor, and just as they were going to be squished, the wall stopped moving.
I wonder how this kid's doing today. Cute.
I like the film, but there's some...
Don't make fun of it. What? Smith Black. I feel so bad because I feel like I am so cynical all the time that then we watch something that's sweet or nice or cute, and then there's always someone in the comments who's like, fuck this, and makes a joke. I understand I'm often cynical, but that's because I cover really terrible things. Not everything needs to be a cynical joke. I get it. I know I'm a hypocrite for saying that based on a lot of the things I've said, but I just want to be clear because I felt bad about it recently when I've seen people... Don't apologize, it's fine. You didn't do anything wrong as an individual. I just want to express to chat, if they need to hear this, don't be cynical about everything. It's okay. You will destroy yourself mentally if you're just cynical about every single thing. Like, it's fine to be cynical and angry about the scam artists and conspiracy theorists and right-wing assholes we watch, because that's the majority of what we watch. But it's also okay to just enjoy things. Because that's life, man. You just gotta enjoy it, you know? Take what you can get. Don't spend your whole life being cynical about everything all the time. It'll kill you. It's not good. Oh yeah, she's definitely nervous. She's a kid on, like, live TV. She's doing her best. I think it's cute.
Some parts that were hard to understand, such as how a simple boy from the country can fly a spaceship and shoot a gun and hit right on target. And that Princess Leia was sure bossy. I'm Alvin Fitz from Toronto, and that's entertainment.
Cute. Still want to see if I can find the clip that I saw. Was this the one? No, that's a lineup. Reactions? Was it this one? Maybe it's in here somewhere.
Empire Wood and right. The Empire. What is any?
Oh, was it for the sequel? Maybe Empire.
News at the Kennedy Center in Washington.
And that's our report tonight. Jessica Savage will be here tomorrow night. I'm Jane Pauley, back Monday.
Side of Hollywood comes this. As almost as high, about $365 million at last count. Or many weirder are down the block.
You meet a lot of weird people out here?
None weirder than us.
Nope. Must have been really hard to do cosplay back then. Okay, here we go. Here's a group of people. I already see someone who's not a white dude. There's a woman right there, too. There's another one back there. Like, this idea that it's all just white guys who've been carrying these franchises forever is such bullshit. You literally couldn't only appeal to men and be a hit franchise. Over half the population is female. Female. Yeah. Over half the population of the United States is women. Come on.
Movies were great. We all loved them. We kept watching them, but there was no at the time future for Star Wars. So we just kept buying the toys, buying the merch. Those of us who were the die-hard passionate fans, or in my case, a little kid who said, "Mommy, buy me that," and my mom was a generous woman, and she did. We kept it alive through our love.
You kept it alive through buying shit.
Of the IP.
This is so weird. It feels like he's proud of being like a consumer of a specific product. That's weird to me. That is not in any way how I frame my fandom of things. I enjoy certain stories. I enjoy talking about those stories and their implications with other people who also like those stories. And sure, you know, I like merchandise sometimes. Like I have a Lament configuration from the Hellraiser series, though I'm pretty sure this was not licensed, so I think that whoever owns that got nothing. So I get it. But primarily framing like, I'm a real fan of Star Wars because I bought a bunch of plastic shit in the 80s and 90s, like, that's pathetic. It's fine to enjoy these things. Again, I didn't have problems with people, like, collecting things or enjoying things. But that shouldn't be part of your identity as a person, right? Don't be like, I'm a Star Wars fan because I bought a bunch of toys. I kept it alive. You know, like, that's not healthy. That's weird.
Barbies existed for decades upon decades. It is consistently been kept alive by a passionate fan base who continue to buy the toys, whether they're for their children or for themselves, collectors, and then they also partake in the Barbie media. Barbie has had a media long before this movie. All animated, various kinds of animation, but it is...
Like, yes, is this... Like, did he never realize that Barbie was a franchise? Correct. Yes? You didn't know this? even I, who am a trans woman, so as a kid, I was an only child too. I didn't have sisters or anything. So, like, I didn't have access to a bunch of what would be considered stereotypically girly media, except maybe what was on cable. But, like, you didn't know Barbie was a franchise outside of the dolls? Like, you didn't know there were 10 million direct-to-video Barbie movies? You didn't know that it was, like, a thing?
It has existed, and it has had a loyal and devout, passionate fan base. That's the key. The passion. Here we are, 2 weeks in, $774 million.
I'm curious what it's at today, actually. Hold on. Current Barbie box office. It is at 1.03 million as of 2 days ago. Don't know what it is right now. Don't know what it's going to do this weekend, but it's over $1 billion.
With daily gains.
You were once got called a woke tourist by a 40K fan who didn't even know it existed when I got into 40K. That's so bizarre to me. It's the same thing when I've seen people be like, oh, when did Doctor Who get woke? Or when did Star Trek get woke? Or, like, this idea that, like, oh, Star Trek has too many women, and, like, it's made for women. And it's like, do you think women don't love Star Trek? Like, Star Trek was partially saved by a writing campaign that involved a lot of women. Like, I just... Star Trek has a long history of being, like, you know, progressive, for equality, anti-racism, anti-prejudice, you know? Like, and it's always been relative to its time, of course, but nonetheless, it's still there. Like, not only that, fan fiction, slash fiction, gay slash fiction was basically invented by Star Trek fans who are gay or women. Gay men and women, like, basically invented Star Trek slash, like, Spock Kirk slash fiction. Come on.
Of over 20 million all week long.
What are my thoughts on them retiring making any merchandise of Leia as Jabba's prisoner, aka the gold bikini? Sucks for collectors. That's actually an interesting question. I get it for, like, children, for sure. Like, having that be a kid's action figure is kind of fucking weird, if I'm being honest. I don't know, though. Like even, like, sideshow collectible stuff? I don't know. I guess it doesn't really matter. Disney owns it. It's not up to me.
That's unheard of in the modern day landscape of moviegoing. On top of that, you had the massively impressive marketing job done by everybody involved with this movie.
So much cope.
Some lying involved in that, but we're not going to talk.
The ads were not lies.
Talk about Barbie.
These people have literally talked about, like, we should sue the Mattel and Warner Brothers for false advertising with Barbie.
It's message, it's agenda. We're not talking about today. We are talking about the numbers. We're talking about why it worked. And in the end, it is truly the passion. You don't get to 774 million in 2 weeks without repeat viewings.
Sure, a lot of people have gone to see it multiple times.
My boy Dre yesterday made a great point, saying the first weekend, the diehards went, they dragged their boyfriends and their husbands to go see it.
As if men can't enjoy just a funny comedy movie.
And for some of us, we thought, okay, that's it. There's going to be no more. But no. He added, now they're doing their girl power watch parties. They're going back to see it.
How dare women have something in society that they collectively have a moment in social media where it's a fun collective activity to go see the movie together. How dare women do that?
With all the
It's funny, too, because I don't think most of it's repeat viewing. People have definitely gone and seen it multiple times, like any hit movie. But no, there's just a lot of audience for this movie.
Friends, again, once, twice, maybe 3 times in the past week now.
Wasn't Barbie's budget 150 million? Yep, the budget was 150 million, and then the advertising budget was about the same. So in totality, the budget was about $300,000, and it's made over $1 billion. So they have tripled their investment so far.
That's passion, and I have to acknowledge that. I have to be fair and balanced and look at the facts.
Fair and balanced.
Facts and
just like Fox News.
The logic, another catchphrase I throw around on this channel. The facts and logic are passionate fans have propelled Barbie to this unbelievable record that it's setting right now. And that's the thing. We didn't see this coming. Nobody understood this. And that just goes to show you, if you make...
I don't know if I necessarily thought it was definitely going to make $1 billion, but running up to it, seeing the social media stuff with the Barbenheimer stuff, it very much felt like it was going to make a lot more than these people thought it was going to.
Make a movie geared towards its proper fan base. They will turn out, and they will keep turning out to make it successful.
Like, Barbie has a good cinema score, too, and the scores from audiences are, like, generally good.
You don't need to destroy franchises.
No franchise has been destroyed!
To make them work.
If anything, it's the opposite. I don't know if you guys know about, like, the toy collecting scene, but right now Mattel is releasing a lot of, Barbie movie merchandise. Like, Barbies specifically from, like, with outfits from the movie and stuff. And they're getting sold out, like, immediately, and they're getting scalped on eBay for ridiculous prices, as always happens when speculators enter markets. You fucking losers, I hate you. So the idea that this is damaging the Barbie brand is crazy. If anything, it's caused a resurgence. I would imagine over the next year or two, the sales for Barbie dolls are going to be higher than they've been in a decade, if I had to guess.
To seek out a new fan base. The fan bases that exist for everything that has been produced in the past 60, 70, 80 years. They're there. Or some of them have clearly, generations have moved on, but they passed the love onto the following generations. Fan bases are there. You do not need to destroy the fundamental core of a classic franchise in search of the modernized audience. Barbie was made for women. Star Wars, mostly made for men. Star Trek.
Star Wars was made for general audiences. Star Wars is a general audience adventure film. And sure, it's made with a male gaze, as most movies in the world have been. Like, I'm not arguing that. But it doesn't mean that its only audience or primary audience has always been men. Oh my god.
Mostly made for men. All the other franchises, mostly made for men. They have their nerd female fans over that, but these were all male.
Nerd female fans. You know, they don't count, though. It's interesting. It's just like a whole separate category for him. Like, even if he didn't respect me, obviously I'm a fucking big dork, you know? I'm trans, though, so I'm gonna assume he's not gonna respect me, nor consider me a woman. But let's look at, my wife, a cis woman. Baha loves this stuff. Baha loves Star Trek, okay? She also likes the Marvel movies. Like, she likes quote-unquote nerdy things. Like, this idea is so crazy to me that you think women just don't like some of the most popular movies of all time? Don't get me wrong, I think there are some movies that are probably more, like, male-centric and some movies that are more general audience, and then you have Barbie, which is more women-centric, although that's generally a rarity. It does happen, though. The idea that Star Wars is only or primarily for men is wild. It's one of the most profitable franchises of all time. It's not as high as, like, Pokemon, but it's pretty up there. This is not all off the backs of men. It's so weird.
Oriented franchises, and that's why they were successful for decades. And this is successful because this is a female-oriented franchise, and it played into it. It gave them what they wanted. Now, the people going to see it over and over again, I came up with a thought yesterday as well, basically saying You've got your die-hard ideologues who are going to keep going seeing this because of that, because it's wrapped up in their nostalgia. But then there's...
It's interesting, too, that he seems to... Does he think the ideas in the Barbie movie are foreign to women? Like, does he think women are watching the Barbie movie and the things that are said? For instance, in the America Ferrera speech, does he think these are things women don't already think? And again, we're generalizing here, half the population, basically. But, like... these feminist ideas and like being like, hey, society doesn't treat women the same way it treats men in terms of opportunity and respect. Do you think women don't like? Do you think it's like he thinks the average normie non-online woman hears that and goes, "That's not true. I've been treated with the utmost respect by all men my entire life." Like, is that what he thinks? No, it's not. It doesn't have some radical messaging. It's literally just basic ass, like, hey, society's unfair.
The other side of it, there are millions of normies out there who are going to go see this who don't see the ideology. All they see is Barbie.
It's incredibly blatant. What are you talking about? You literally couldn't see this movie and not understand that it's a feminist text. Or at the very least, at minimum, you would have to say pro-egalitarian, anti-toxic masculinity. I'd say full, like, feminism, though. Which I'd say those fall under, you know. But.
All they see. They don't see the patriarchy. They don't see the demeaning, whatever you want to say, happens to men in the...
Yeah, no women ever feel degraded in anywhere in the world, actually. Fun fact.
The Kens, they don't see that, they just see nostalgia.
Literally, the way the Kens are treated is an intentional part of the story. Nothing has made me realize how stupid some of these online media critics are in the chud sphere since this movie. Like, oh, did you not notice that the Kens were getting mistreated? Yes, that's a primary plot point of the movie. That's a reflection of how women are treated in the real world. It's a hyperbolic extension of that, but it is supposed to be that. That's intentional in the movie. Did you get that? They said it verbatim in the movie, with their words. It was barely subtext. It was pretty much just text. And you seemed to miss it? You seemed to miss it.
The things they brought to life, and that's good enough for them. Good enough to go see it 2 or 3 more times. Barbie's gonna hit $1 billion. I was wrong 2 weeks ago when I said, oh, it won't hit $1 billion. It's gonna hit $1 billion. It is inevitable.
It ends with Ken staying in Barbie world, though. What's the message there? Have you seen the movie? It makes sense if you've seen the movie. Like, Ken absolutely goes into toxic masculinity. Spoilers for the Barbie movie, if you care. Like, I think you could see this movie, and these spoilers I don't think will affect anything. I don't think these are twists or surprises. Just if you care about the general plot. Spoilers. So, basically the Kens are treated like shit in Barbie Land. They're treated like second-class citizens. They don't have, like, rights. They don't have positions of power. And all of their life is basically, they exist as individuals to get the attention of Barbies. Their entire self-value is based upon whether or not Barbies view them as valuable. So Ken goes to the real world and sees toxic masculinity and thinks that's something he should emulate, because in that world there's patriarchy, and he just wants to be treated with basic human decency because he has been treated shitty. So he goes back, overcorrects into toxic masculinity, which then gets solved. And then he's like, oh, I can just be a person. I shouldn't be a second-class citizen, nor do I need to go the other way and be toxic and be a misogynist in order to like myself. Maybe we should all just like ourselves for who we are, and we're enough. And, like, ideologies like wanting to be in a patriarchy are harmful to everyone, including those within them, men included. So, it does have a message that's pretty blatant, and I don't understand how these chuds don't get it. Like, what do they think Star Wars is about? If you didn't understand Barbie, which is so explains what's going on, how do they even watch movies like Star Wars? Like, what do they think is going on?
Even if it has a worse drop-off this week, it will limp to $1 billion. if it has, but I think it's gonna easily get $1 billion next weekend, unfortunately. And remember, I don't want this movie to succeed because
Not butthurt at all. Definitely not mad. He just doesn't want this movie to succeed, even though it already has. So.
Believe in what people I trust have told me about the messaging in this movie, but I have to.
Wait, have you not even seen it? What the fuck?
Put that aside. The facts are Barbie's a success. Now, one final question I'm going to throw out there: will Barbie be like Avatar? 2 months from now, 3 months from now, end of the year, Christmas, will we be thinking about Barbie? Or
probably. I imagine there's going to be a decent number of Barbie, Ken, Alan, Midge Halloween costumes this year. They might even do a re-release. If they want to really, really do an event re-release, they could probably get more people to go see it sometime at the end of the year. Disney's done that too, to like get Avatar and one of the Avengers movies to get like all-time whatever box office, so they could do that, but like, I don't care either way. It's already a very successful movie, financially and critically, both with audiences and like professional critics. So whatever, it's a success.
Once the phenomena has run its course through the end of August, this is how I'm gonna.
Please make Barbie 2 just to make him mad.
Gonna look at it. Once we reach the end of August and the phenomena has run its course, will Barbie leave a lasting cultural footprint? I can't answer.
Barbie has? Do you think Barbie as a franchise hasn't? Didn't you just say it has deep cultural roots that have led to a fandom, which you are saying is why it's made so much money? Barbie already has left a mark. And yes, the movie will be remembered. I'd imagine it's a pretty good movie, and it made a ton of fucking money. And it was like an event film for a lot of people, going to the theater, dressing up with friends or family, taking pictures in the Barbie box. Baha and I did that. It was fun.
For that question.
So now there's tons of people who not only liked the movie, but have some sort of nostalgic experience that they can think back to associated with the movie. Yeah, I think it'll be fine.
But I'm posing it right now. And we're gonna.
Oh, all the Mattel Cinematic Universe stuff is gonna be so stupid. It's gonna be so stupid.
Find out. We'll keep thinking about it. In 2-3 months' time, we will talk about. Oh, remember that movie Barbie? Oh yeah, Barbie. Okay, no, will anybody be talking about? But the articles will still be happening.
Yeah, basically Dark Beast. Yeah.
Anybody still care? We'll find out. All right, I'm done. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, a like would be very much appreciated. If you are new here, I invite you to subscribe to me right here on YouTube. We're hope to earn.
It's not on any streaming services yet. No, it's still in theaters. It'll be on like PVOD or like premium VOD in the next couple months, I think. So you'll be able to pay like $20 to watch it on like Amazon Prime or something. Or once it's out there, I'm sure you can procure it somewhere on the, out there on the seas, if you know what I mean. Yo-ho.
Earn your trust and support using Facts and Logic, because Facts and Logic do not care about Whiny Stan and SJW fees. Hit the notification button to make videos.
You're so fucking pathetic.
By all means, leave a comment. Thank you again.
What a douchebag. That's hilarious. What do I want to cover?
Sup, this is Alex Chu coming at you with another episode. This episode, just wanna talk about the power of my rings, and how to protect your body.
You've never seen me cover Alex before. Alex Chu is an individual that believes he has invented immortality rings that allow him to live forever. He thinks he hasn't aged since he was in his late 20s or early 30s, I don't remember. He thinks he hasn't changed how he has looked since his, 30s, early 30s. I've seen pictures of him in his 20s and 30s. He has changed. Nothing wrong with that. We all do, I'll get there too, hopefully. But it's a little weird that he thinks he hasn't aged. It's interesting.
But anyway, before I talk about this subject, I want to tell you my name's Alex Chu. I'm the guy who invented physical immortality rings. These are rings that you put on your small fingers during sleep. You wear them, you don't age anymore. You become physically immortal.
Reminder that these rings are literally just like adjustable plastic rings with magnets on them. That's all it is. It's just magnets in adjustable plastic rings that you're supposed to put on your pinkies.
For example, I'm already 52.
He always does this. He thinks that because he's not fat or not overweight or doesn't carry excess like body weight, whatever, he thinks it means he hasn't aged. Like, I understand that especially in the United States, generally people are large, and as they get older, sometimes they'll get larger, because if you're continuing to eat more calories every day than you burn, you're going to continue to gain weight over time, and the longer you do that, the more weight you'll gain. So I get it. There are definitely older people in the United States who are overweight, you know? Most people in the United States, based on, you know, current ways of measuring, are overweight. Myself included. Totally. But Alex, you can be older and in shape. You can be older and be like a whatever size you are. Like, this has nothing to do with age.
See, I'm still... Oh, shit. My pants are falling apart. See, I'm still pretty skinny, right? And see, I don't have any belly fat. If you go to my website, livemuchlonger.com, I have lots of testimonials from Amazon customers. Most of them give me 4-star, 5-star. If you're interested, you want to look like me when you're 52, livemuchlonger.com, livemuchlonger.com. Link is at the bottom of this video. Today, yeah, I mean, I was fixing my car, right? And I went to, I don't know, I went to check on my car. It was like late at night. It was very dark, right? And then I saw everything's okay. And then I started running back, and I trip on my...
He's losing hair up there. He should start Spiro. That'll stop it.
My wire, man. I made a huge fall. I tripped on the wire. I was running, right? I tripped on the wire, and I fell, man. Fuck. And my...
He has some subscribers, not a ton, but it doesn't have no views. It has like 75 views, and this was posted in the last day.
My hands scrape against the floor. Look at that. See that? This big ass scar. I got a scar on my knee too, you know. Luckily there's no scar on my face, but I was like, bam! I was running so hard and I fell. But you know what? Luckily, because I wear the rings, okay?
Nice, Carpcosian. I'm jealous. I'm really jealous. Unironically, so fucking jealous. Would they please just, like, get rid of my testicles? I know this is TMI. I'm sorry. I just really don't want them anymore, so, like, if there's anyone who has the medical expertise, feel free to come on over and collect some free testicles I don't want to use anymore.
And I'm 52-year-old. Usually, you know, when you're like 45, okay? Because I remember back in the days when I was like going to the strip club, right? There's this guy. He's only...
How casually he mentions him going to the strip club is so funny to me. Never in my life have I been to a strip club. I don't think I probably ever will. Who knows, though? Life's weird. Who knows where it'll take me. But I can't imagine any real reason I would go into a strip club. I don't care that people do. I don't necessarily have a problem with it. I'm glad the people at the strip club are making money. I'm fine with that. I just don't get the appeal. I don't understand. Like, I don't know. Why do you just want to go watch people get naked? Like, the internet's a thing if you want that. And if you want it in person, you're just gonna go to a room with a bunch of other people and pay people to do it? I don't know.
Only 42-year-old. He was 42 that time, right? Everybody know, because we know each other very... We're like...
It was actually really funny. I'm not going to get specific for obvious reasons, but one time I was, like, out of town with someone, and this guy clearly wanted to go to a strip club so bad and was dancing around it, and it was so weird. He was like, oh yeah, that's the strip club. I go there. They're great. Gotta show you it sometime. This was not all one sentence. These were comments that were made periodically. And it's like, it feels like you want me to say, let's go to the strip club, and I'm not gonna do that. That is not a thing I'm going to do ever in my life. Don't do that.
Friends, you know, we're not very good friends, but
also, just frankly, I feel like, and again, I've never been in a strip club, but I feel like if I walked in, the scent of sweaty men would make me vomit. The scent of sweaty, horny weirdos would not be pleasant.
Back in the days when I go to a strip club, I know a lot of regulars, right? So I get to speak to a lot of regulars, and then
oh boy, you go to the strip club a lot. Okay.
We sort of become friends, right? And then we go out to, like, we would go to Chinatown to eat wonton together. We would watch a movie together. Go to Hooters together and shit like.
Hooters.
That.
Hooters is the weirdest thing to me. I've told this story. My dad took me to Hooters once when I was younger, and of course I'm trans, so I'm AMAB. So I was, you know, as far as they knew at the time, a young boy. Like pre or just pubescent. I don't even know for sure. I don't remember. But I have never seen my dad, like, I am disgusted by the behavior of both my dad and his friend. His friend was the more active one who was harassing the waitresses, for sure. But my dad laughed and, like, went along with it. It was disgusting. Disgusting fucking behavior. Like, people who, like, I don't get it. You want to go to Hooters, so women who don't like you will serve you food, and also you're gonna look at their tits the whole time, even though they probably hate you and think you're disgusting. How is that something you want? How is that anything you would want? Femboy Hooters is a good idea, though. Your trans femme partner had the same Hooters experience of being taken by their dad. Is it something some dads do to try and, like, be like, oh yeah, let's get our kid into the, you know, let's include him. Fucking gross. How are maid cafes a thing? Same reasoning, I'd guess.
And that guy, one day, it was raining, right? It was raining outside, and he left the club, and then he fell. I guess he slipped.
Can we get tomboys at femboy Hooters? Sure, why not? Let's just, how about this? Egalitarian Hooters. Egalitarian Hooters. It's a Hooters, but just everyone who works there, regardless of their gender, sex, identity, whatever, they can be a Hooters person, and they can wear whatever they think looks the best on them. It's a restaurant where everyone... Well, that's still weird. I still don't get it, if I'm being honest. If I'm going to a restaurant, I don't care what the people who work there look like.
Slipped on, he slipped on the wet floor and he fell. And then, yeah, the club manager came to the club and, came into the club and say, hey, Alex, your friend fell, you know? You better go check it out. So, yeah, he fell and he broke his legs, man. He broke his leg, one leg. Just for falling, you know? Just because he slipped on the floor and he fell and he broke his leg. And I have to, drive him to his car. He said, oh, just drive me to my car. You know, I only broke one leg. I still want to go home. I'm going to drive to the hospital myself or something like that. But anyway, I
look up the right hand rule to see why this invention is ridiculous. Okay, let's see. Right hand rule. Physicists used a hand mnemonic known as the right hand rule to help remember the direction of magnetic forces. To form the mnemonic, first make the L shape. What does this have to do with anything? You're going to have to explain it further. I don't get what this mnemonic has anything to do with. Magnetic force, it just has something to do with physics. I totally get he's full of shit, because he talks nonsense.
I drove this guy to his car, and then he drove to the hospital or something. He was only 42 years old. He wasn't even running. He was just He was just walking and he slipped and he fell and he broke his leg.
Also, Hooters is the reason for one of the most disgusting South Park jokes of all time, which was their Hooters staffed by children. Which fucking disgusts me.
You know, it's 42.
It's a shame. I liked South Park a lot as a kid. It's so fucking bad looking back on a lot of it. Like, there are episodes that are still pretty good, but holy shit.
I'm 52, right? I was...
Yeah, it was called Raisins. Was the joke. It's bad.
Running, man. I was running. I tripped on the wire, and I fell. You know, both hands on the... I scraped on the concrete floor. You know, that's the reason.
Like, it feels like for every time South Park got something right, there were like 10 times they did the most fucking stupid thing and just sided on like libertarian caring about things is awful bullshit. Like, look at Man Bear Pig. Look at the entire Garrison transgender arc and how fucking disgusting and transphobic that is.
That's what you see this. I got scraped. My knee got scraped too. And I'm fine. I didn't break my hand. I didn't break nothing. I didn't break my wrist. Nothing. I didn't break my knee. I didn't break it.
Okay. Do you think people always break things when they fall over?
Anything. Because, you know, my body is sort of like... I'm actually...
Night,
my
Jen.
body is sort of like a 20-year-old body. You know, my body...
Man Bear Pig was walked back eventually. Yeah, like over a decade later.
It's like 20-year-olds. So my bones are very dense. You know, my bone is still very dense. You know, still solid. You know. So that's the good thing about wearing the rings. You know, so if you wear the rings, you don't only stay young. You also save a lot of money, because it keeps you out of the hospital. You know. Yeah. So you can imagine if 50 you know 42-year-old man, right? He fell on the floor. He slipped and fell on the floor and he broke his leg. Right. Luckily, he has insurance, because that guy was a high school. He was a high school teacher, so he has benefits, you know. So he fell and broke his leg, and I don't know, his company paid for it. You know, I guess the school pays for it. You know, but I saw that guy. After he broke his leg, he still come to the strip club, man. I saw him wearing a cast, you know, on his leg. Sitting there, you know, still fucking...
Has he said why he thinks the magic rings make him immortal? Specifically, no. At least I haven't seen videos if he has ever attempted to in-depth explain it.
Still come to the strip club. But yeah, anyway, today I just want to show you, you know, I made a huge ass fall, man. I mean, I was falling, man. I was running and I tripped on the wire and I fell. This is... But I'm very lucky, you know, because I'm wearing the rings. You know, I made a huge fall. You know, I swear to God, if 50-some-year-old, regular 50-some-year-old,
you are a regular 50-year-old,
and you made a huge fall like that, no fucking way, you're gonna break something. You know, you're gonna break something. You know, I didn't break nothing. You know.
What happened to Dussy Guy? I actually don't know. I haven't looked into him in a long time.
Still sitting here, you know, showing you guys this.
I don't even remember, what was his channel? I didn't even know if I could find it anymore if I wanted.
But anyway, that's what I want to say for today. Hope you guys like my channel. If you guys like, please subscribe. Talk to you guys next time.
Jeff Holiday says he wants some, and I know you have them. Can you procure another set? I think they're still available online. Like, I think you can just find them. On his website, there might be links. If not, you can find them elsewhere. We don't need another hero. Stuck in my head. Oh, boy.
I give you no consent to be searching in my vehicle.
Stops it. Have I ever heard of Charlie Freak of Freak Sense TV? Nope. Charlie Freak of Freak Sense TV. I will look him up. Freak Sense TV, maybe. I'll have to be more specific. He's on Rumble now? That makes sense. Interesting. What are the most popular videos? Game over for the Cabal. Nice. I am saving this under conspiracy, folks. Thank you very much. Take a look at that a little later. Oh, glad you can make it, Anna. I know you meant live.
If your sergeant don't know what's up, then she's gonna have to get her higher up also here.
We're gonna figure it out when she gets here, okay?
Absolutely. You know, you're the third cop that's pulled me over.
Man, maybe you should have taken a hint.
I'm the third one?
Yep.
In how long? Ever?
The last year.
I've been pulled over 3 times in my whole life.
Where was the other time?
Doesn't matter. Absolutely. I don't know why you guys don't just. What did you say you were gonna What did you say that you were gonna Hold on, man. I've worked a long. Hold on. What'd you say you're gonna serve and protect, man?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
What did you say that you were gonna serve and protect?
Well, I took an oath. I live in New York, so it's one of my job enforcement DT.
It's not enforcing your job, bro. Is this her?
No, it's my partner.
No, I don't necessarily think he's drunk. He's just a sob sit. Oh, here he comes.
This guy's already coming up all crazy. Look at him. Good, how are you? Really, bro? We just went through this with him. Well, you just talked to him. You can go back there and talk to him. He'll tell you everything I already answered, buddy. I didn't say that. You're asking, right? No. This isn't a vehicle stop.
You're in a vehicle and they stopped you, so...
Absolutely. This is considered house goods at this moment. And I'm not
because I said so.
Traveling under commerce, which my plate clearly states that, and you guys are violating...
Oh man, maybe you should get a real license plate and not a fake one you bought off the internet from scammers.
my constitutional rights.
So funny too, these people never realize, like, the people you're buying these license plates from, I don't know if they're genuine believers or not, but you're being scammed. They have given you something of no real value. Like, you got duped. It's not the cops' fault, you don't know what's going on in reality.
Said I was disobeying anything.
No, if you don't provide ID.
I'm asking for your sergeant. So when your sergeant gets here, I'm going to speak to her, just like he said, and he said she's on her way. You ain't going to just violate my rights. Who said that? I don't believe it. Okay. So why would you smash your window out if she's on her way to talk to me? You're a liar. You need to leave. Get out of my window, bro. I don't want to talk to you no more. You're a liar. You just lied to me right to my face, like I'm stupid. Good. When she gets here, I'm gonna speak to her. No, I'm not getting out of nothing. So you can So you could fondle me? No, I'm not getting out of the car. I need to speak to your sergeant. You're not going to just violate my rights. No, I'm not getting out of this car until your sergeant gets here. Exactly. You think I'm stupid? All right. Wait, hold on.
They're gonna break the window and yeet.
You really gonna break it? Okay. Nope.
Oh my god, he's actually gonna unlock it.
No problem. Okay.
He actually made a good choice. It was a last second good choice. Better than the alternative, though. There goes another sale from Safelite. Damn. That was annoying. Sorry about that. Is there anything else I wanted to watch before we call it a night? Have we seen an example of this particular brand of idiot wake up? I think there is, I don't remember who, but I think there is a former SovSit that does SovSit stuff now. Okay, let's call it a night. I'm sorry, Demos. I'm sorry. You can watch some of the VODs, though. I will be back tomorrow, back on Twitch. Thanks for hanging out for the Thursday YouTube stream. Like I said, this is what I'm doing now. Thursdays are going to be YouTube streams, so people in the YouTube audience can be a part of it. Sounds fun. Like I said, this Sunday's the patron-only stream, so join the Patreon if you want to be a part of that. We're going to do Jackbox games, and then the Sunday after that, we're going to do a patron-only stream that's just watching stuff like usual, but stuff maybe we don't usually watch on regular streams. And that's about it. So thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you soon. Have a great night.